Good morning, Xbox. Yes, good morning and welcome to another edition of Good Morning Xbox. I'm your host, Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom is in the room. Newf Nukem is here. Excuse me. And with me, we have our amazing panel. And I will start by going with the introductions on the screen to, I guess, basically it's my left or right on the screen. So we will start with our fabulous femme fatale, Miss CoolCat Terri. Terri, how are you?
Doing fantastic. I hope everyone's doing well this morning.
Good stuff. All right, let's get over to our next panel member, Cerebral Paul.
Hey, I was so excited for the show this week. I got up early yesterday thinking it was Sunday, okay? That's right. I was up at 7 a.m. on a Saturday, okay? So
Wow.
this show's going to be fire. I'll tell you what. Huh?
Absolutely. I believe it. I believe it. All right, speaking of heat, the Latino sensation, Eternal Shaddai.
Good morning, everybody. This is your compatriot, Eternal Shaddai. I can't wait one more week for E3, everybody.
Oh, yeah, we're getting there. Yes, speaking of someone who's definitely excited for E3, and hopefully his mic is not on mute, we have Mr. Axel1324, who is back in his dojo. Welcome back.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Xbox. Welcome to the show. Can't wait to get to these topics, man.
All right, and let's give it up for the sexiest panel member, the man who comes back with a nice new graphic pick courtesy of Mr. Graphic God, the one, the only, the scrubbiness.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Good to be here today. Ready to get to these topics. Glad y'all with us. Get your coffee, your energy drinks. Let's sit back and have a good time. Let's go.
Indeed. We're here to have a good time, and let's give a big shout out to the early birds of this particular podcast, including Kylo Milo, who actually showed up late last night when I posted this. I kind of put the I didn't have the the date stamp in there for today, so I guess it notified people, and Kylo showed up early. He's like, "Good night, Xbox." So great sense of humor. Kylo Milo, first to hear. Hopefully, maybe it shows up today. Chase Jones is actually the first official person here in the chat this morning. What's going on? Psychonauts, our good brother, is in the house. We also have Doggy Dog. Wouldn't be a podcast on a Sunday morning without the doghouse being ready to go. Woof, woof. Caper Grant, yes, baby, is in the house. So we got Casket Repair is here as well. Good stuff. And almost caught up with everyone. Matty Burns. Matt Burns, what's going on, brother? Thanks for being here today. Joe Dunmore.
Joe Dunmore.
Yeah, you say it pretty good.
Yeah, I love saying that name.
Especially the way Mag runs
Mag
it.
said it. Joe Dunmore.
Joe Dunmore. Yeah.
And the thing is that he's my co-worker, too.
You got a coworker named Joe Dunmore?
Yeah, he's a mechanic where I work at.
Nice.
By the way, I want you to notice I'm still not a moderator on a G channel. I'm beginning to take this personal.
Oh,
Notice my name is not in blue like the others.
All right, I'll have to fix that. Hey, speaking of the Mag, look at that. He's in the house.
Yes, we need a soundboard of the Mag saying, Joe Dunmore.
Yes, indeed. So the Mag is here. Mag, what's going on, man? Hope you're having a good Sunday morning, and look forward to catching up with you a bit later on tonight. So good stuff there. All right, let's let's just quickly find out what everybody's been playing. So let's start back with CoolCat Terri. CoolCat, what games have been keeping you busy since our last podcast?
This week I actually lost internet for 3 days, so that greatly reduced my gaming. But I'm still been working on Biomutant a little bit here and there, and then some SnowRunner. I've been messing around with that with some friends and having some good laughs as we roll down the hill and get stuck upside down. So it's been entertaining.
Nice. Yeah, I saw your internet troubles, and that's always bad, especially it's like nothing you can do, and they come out to fix stuff, and half the time it's just as bad as it was to begin with.
You know you're going to have a rough one when you have the technician come out, and then it gets worse when he leaves than when it was when he first came. So I'm like, oh boy.
Yes, that's never a good thing. Yo, Boogeyman, what's going on? Boogeyman is in the house. What's happening, Boogie? All right.
Boogie.
All right, and speaking of boogieing, what's been making you boogie, Mr. Paul?
Oh, let's see. Everything. No, actually, not as much. A lot of a lot of the legendary edition of what's it called? That I just drew a blank on. Nice, huh?
Mass Effect.
That's the one. Yep. And what else? Let's see. I decided to go old school a little bit. I've been playing a little bit of Sid Meier's Pirates, which, if you've never played that game, that is definitely old school. That's original Xbox type stuff. It's fun. I missed the Sid Meier's games. Sid Meier's was very creative. Other than that, not a whole lot. So at least nothing worthy of talking about. I've been back to my bouncing around things. Like I did a little bit of Dead Rising today and realized that now I remember why I never played that game, because it's a pain in the ass. But let's see. Yeah, that's about it. I've been kind of distracted with life lately, so not playing as much as I'd like to be.
Yeah, remind me. I got a question about Dead Rising, or not Dead Rising, but Dying. Did you say Dead Rising or Dying Light?
Dead Rising.
Dead Rising.
I completed Dying Light too, or Dying Light. So.
All right, I got a question for you about Dying Light afterwards.
Okay.
So let's get to the rest. It's just I have a question about it, but I'm a fraud. I've never played a Dying Light game. Can you guys believe that?
Wow.
Been on my radar and just never got around to it.
Yeah, let's get everybody done, and then you can ask your question, and then we're going to tell you need to play this game, and it is co-op, by the way. So.
Yeah. All right, let's get over to Mr. Shaddai. What have you been playing?
Well, actually, I'm like Paul. I just jumped from one to the next after finishing Darksiders Genesis. I played a little bit of Sea of Thieves because I haven't even played whatever they added on the game. I just wanted it to give it a little bit of exploration about that area. But then I decided to stick with Octopath Traveler. Because I had it on the Nintendo Switch, and that's one of the most creative JRPGs that I ever played. And actually, that's where I've been playing Octopath Traveler. So I expect everybody to play if when they have the time. It's really good.
So you're playing it on Xbox, I guess, then?
That is correct.
Okay. I only tried the demo for Switch. Axel, what's been keeping you busy? Have you been able to even play a game lately?
Man, these past 3 weeks have been so chaotic. But while I was on the plane, I took my Switch with me. While I was on the plane and while I had a little downtime in the hotel here and there, I actually managed to finish Paper Mario and the Origami King. And when I bought this game, I thought it was going to be like maybe a 12 to 20 hour game. It was not. This was like a full-blown 60-hour RPG.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
And it had a lot of charm. It was great. The ending was worth it. The music at the end, holy cow, man! It's like, you know me, Newf. I'm a big music guy in games, right? And so the music as the game went on, it just got better and better and better. And like the final boss music, I was like, yes, this is boss music right here. If you don't have a chance to play it, the way I would put it on the tier list of Paper Marios, it's probably the third best. It's better than the Nintendo DS versions we got, but it's definitely no Thousand Year Door. It's definitely not as good as the original Paper Mario, and it's certainly not as good as the 7 stars, the original Mario RPG. But other than that, I do have some news. My nephew managed to get his grades up high enough where I could buy him a game. So we ended up going through a bunch of trailers of games I liked because he asked me what I like. And so he ended up choosing Gears 5.
Ooh,
so I've been
taste.
playing Gears 5 with my nephew starting yesterday. And I asked him, what do you think? Because it's important to me to know what the youngins think, right?
How old is he?
He's 12, I believe. Okay. Yeah. 12.
Yeah, every time I talk to you guys, I'm wondering what the youngins think. So, yeah, that's just how that
works. Yeah, he's 12, and I go, what do you think? And he goes, it's fun. I'm having a really good time. And he didn't know it was going to be, we're not playing it on hard at all. We're on, like, mediocre or something. And he thinks it's hard. So, yeah, he's definitely a Fortnite kid coming over to the serious side.
Well, at least you're teaching them right with Gears. So there you go. Fantastic choice in games.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And you, my friend Scrubs, what's been keeping you busy?
Oh, a little bit of everything but gaming, but it's been a good week. I was able to go on vacation with my wife and the kids, and So we spent a good 3-4 days out in Nashville. We get home, and then, of course, I had about 2 or 3 gigs that I had to play for the rest of the week. So hardly any video game touch at all. But I did get one little thing out this week, which I thought was great. And basically, I got this right here, a little gamer pick that the graphic god himself has graced me with, and I think it came out great. You guys, if you ever get a chance and you think you want to get a gamer pick and you've been wondering what to do, just go ahead, jump on it. Jay's a great guy. He worked well. I mean, pretty quick too. Once we started our talk and got everything together, I mean, that gamer pick came out great. I have no complaints. So that's pretty much my week. Is a lot of drumming, a lot of music playing, and on vacation, but glad to be back.
Absolutely. Anyone ever use a joke on you when you're a drummer? You like to beat it?
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Oop! I'm sorry, I forgot which podcast I'm on.
Yeah.
Good morning, Xbox. You can let your kids join now. Got that out of our system. I got that.
That was a subtle one. That's subtle. All right. Good stuff, guys. Let's catch up with the chat because we got a super chat coming in, our first one of the morning. This one comes in courtesy of our good friend Shane Tomlin, who drops €5. I think it's €5. Hi, guys. Looking forward to another great show. Newf Dying Light, best zombie game ever. To get into the chopper now. Yes. I know I've heard a lot of people talk about Dying Light, and for the like of me, I can't even tell you why I've never actually played it. I just don't know. But it's one of those games that, you think I would have played it, but I think it was just at the time there was so many other games and I put it on the backlog, and then it just kind of missed that boat. And I wanted to play it with some people that I knew, like not just randoms and stuff like that. So, but my question to you guys is, and Paul, if you want to answer it for me, I picked up a copy and it's Dying Light, but it says it's the Dying Light. Is it the following?
The following is the add-on.
So
the following is
yeah, that was my question. So is that like part of the first game, or is that just an add-on as like that came out as sort of like a full-fledged title?
It's part of it's an add-on to the first game.
I was thinking it was a complete edition. I was just thinking like it had a different cover because I picked it up on a cheap, and I was like, okay, is this and then I was like, is this actually the original game, or is it like DLC kind of deal? So.
Well, I don't. Depending on what version you got, it may come with the full version plus the following game, stuff, because it's a whole separate area.
Right. Okay. Cool beans. Well, I look forward to getting into it, and maybe I'll get to tackle that one here sometime soon, and maybe you'll help me play it, Paul. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. I can tell you what not to do. Yeah.
Perfect. That would be great.
See, I died new. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, don't go into that dark. Don't go into that dark cave looking for roses.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That tunnel. Stay out of the tunnel. Yeah.
Well, we know with most horror games, whenever there's a subway or a freaking tunnel, there's going to be trouble. I think we've all attested to that.
Always just going to lead you on.
And Dying Light definitely brings on the don't go out at night thing. And they're supposed to, supposedly, they've leveled that out for Dying Light 2, where day and night's going to be deadly. But night in the original Dying Light is ugly. It's really, really ugly.
More ways than one, it sounds like.
Paul's just going to lead you on, Newf. He's going to be like, open the door, Newf. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Open it.
Go on, you take the lead, Newf. It's fine. Yeah. I'll be way back here. Yeah, way.
Speaking of the chat and different things as well, and the man that we already mentioned a few different times, Graphic God, has graced us with his presence, and I will let everybody know well in advance. Graphic God, Mr. Jay Williams, he will be our first guest on the show after the E3 weekend. So not next weekend show, but the one after. He's going to be our guest, and we hope that we'll see lots of support for Graphic God, who supported so many. So looking forward to that. It's going to be a good time. Let's catch up again to the chat one more time before we jump right into the topics. Sir X-Man is here. Stubbs Gaming is in the house. Boogeyman is here. Curry Cosmos, or Christina, as I know her better. She is here making her first visit to the podcast. So thank you, Curry. We go back a few years as well. She supports a lot of different podcasts. Glad she can make it. Who else did we miss here? We've got like I said, Stubbs is in the house. Good to see Stubbs. I know that's part of the reason we did this podcast. The blue one is here, good friend of mine, and great guy to play some games with. Always up to help you out with things like Borderlands and stuff like that. So we got Quietish T. What's going on, Quietish? And yeah, Back from the Dead is in the house. Another good supporter right there, guys. So yeah, we got a great crew. Cyber Gunter is here. What's happening? All right. What's that graphic god? I got so powerful in Dying Light, I used to go out at night hunting the volatiles. Kill Bates. All right.
That must have taken a while. Those volatiles are nasty.
I bet. Now you got me interested. All right, so our first topic of the week, guys, is simply E3 anticipation. We've probably heard 1,000,001 podcasts talk about, their predictions and stuff like that, and we're not necessarily here to make a lot of predictions. We will have sort of what we would like our most anticipated thing we'd like to see, but I'm going to go with, like, I guess basically 3 games that you think you might see at the show that you would certainly like to see the most. So that's what we're going to start out with, and we'll have our usual features. Eternal Shaddai, I think you have the community spotlight this week, I think. So, but we'll do that a little bit later. But you do have one lined up for us?
No, I did that last week with Trinity Warriors.
Oh,
so today was Paul.
It was Paul. Right, Paul. Right. Sorry, guys. I might get mixed up here. But anyway, we'll get to that a little bit later in the show. Stubbs says, Paul, your mic sounds a bit distorted. Yeah, it sounds a little bit hot this morning. We hear you loud and clear, but it sounds like a little bit. What is it like when? Yeah,
well, I'm also coughing my life off. So
apparently, get this man some coughs here. But let's start with CoolCat Terri. Terri, right. E3, or at least the Xbox portion, starts off on next Sunday. I know everybody's excited for it, especially if you happen to be an Xbox fan. What kind of show do you expect? And basically list off the 3 games can come from, it could be a Bethesda game, Xbox, one of Xbox Studio games, whichever. So which games are you most excited to hopefully see?
For the Xbox Bethesda show, I feel it's going to be a pretty good show. I think some people are expecting a little too much at the same time, though, because they're like, Xbox, has like 23 new studios. They should have everything to show. And it's like, yeah, they just got them. They're not going to have like a game made in 3 months. Calm down a little bit. But I do think they're going to have some pretty awesome things to show off. And when it comes to things that I'm excited to see, I want to see more on Fable for sure. I absolutely love Fable. And as well as the new Perfect Dark that they hinted at like last year. So I want to see what kind of progress is on that. If they have anything to even say on it, they might not even have anything yet. Could still be way too early. But if they do have anything on the new Perfect Dark, I'm going to be like fangirling all over the place. So I'll be pretty excited for that. And then I guess for like the third one would be like probably like the main one everyone's looking at for Bethesda, which would be Elder Scrolls 6. See what they got going on with that.
That's not the main one everybody's looking at. Okay, I'm just telling you that right now.
Don't let them fool you. They want Elder Scrolls 6 more than freaking Starfield. They really
no.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
No.
Yeah, they do.
Nope.
Trust me, dude. Trust me.
That's good. I'm hoping everyone has some diversity this morning in their picks.
Can you play as a soldier in Elder Scrolls?
Yep.
Yeah.
I will remember that.
Just get your basic sword and shield. You got it. You're good.
That's it. According to CoolCat Terri last week, if you pick the soldier class, you're just not gaming properly. Or in Paul's case, maybe you're just gaming differently. I don't know. All right, let's do it.
I never played the soldier class. No. In any game,
is in regards to Mass Effect, for those of you that are like, what do you mean? Okay, in Mass Effect, I'm against playing as the soldier class. All right.
Yep, I don't do it in any game I play. I never.
So no.
My first choice.
Terri likes batting. She likes to be able to touch people without using her hands. It's that COVID thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you against soldiers because you're a Navy person, Terri?
No.
That's right. Yeah, I saw those pictures. Good stuff. Glad to know you and the husband are well. Dirk Griggity is in the house. He drops $5 in the super chat. Good morning, y'all. Xbox E3 2021 hype is here. What's going on? Paul's catching on me here. I'm coughing. Thanks for being here, Dirk Griggity, man. And thanks for the super chat. Always a great show, guys. Make sure you catch We Bleed Green on Mondays. Fantastic little podcast right there with Dirk Griggity and company. And we have another super chat coming in early from Caper Grant 692. He drops $5 Canadian, which is about 70 cents American in the super chat. Good morning. I kid, it's not that low, but man, our dollar has been pretty rough in that comparison, which that's why they're priced up here
€5,
crazy.
I think with that €5 we got earlier, I think we owe them money. I'm not sure how that works, but
probably will. Crazy. All right, guys. Let's move over to Mr. Cerebral Paul. Cerebral, how about yourself, man? What are a couple of games that would get you excited?
She named one, I named the other. So there you go.
Well, you describe them.
It's all Bethesda, baby. I mean, that's really. I want more open world. I never really got into Perfect Dark. To me, Perfect Dark was, and I'm gonna get shot for this, I was a GoldenEye guy. I loved GoldenEye. Perfect Dark was the answer to GoldenEye because they lost the licensing for James Bond. That's the only reason Joanna Dark even exists, is because they couldn't do another James Bond title. And I didn't like the way it played in general. It wasn't because it was her. It was just I didn't care for the game. It didn't draw me in as much. But I hope it's good. I hope it's better than the last Joanna Dark game they did. That one wasn't that good. But I'm in the open world. So the more open world games they talk about, the happier I'll be.
Nice.
And especially if they're single player driven. We've got enough multiplayer games, guys. Personally, I like a good story. I love a good story. Co-op or single player for me. So.
Got another super chat coming in from our good friend Sir X-Men, who drops $2. He says it's all about Beyond Good and Evil 2 for him.
Now, that would be nice. Yeah, that would be nice to see.
Especially since they've been showing it forever and a day. So.
Yeah,
no doubt.
That'll be for Saturday, so hopefully Ubisoft will showcase that. That'll be for Saturday.
Right. Yes. So I think they go first, don't they?
Yep.
I think Ubisoft's going to start their whole thing on Saturday with, first, we'd like to apologize for everything, and go from there. They have not had a good year as a company.
Yeah, things are slowing down. Hopefully they got some irons in the fire. No Assassin's Creed from those guys this year, so they can't go back to the well on that one, at least not that we know of, unless there's a surprise, which could happen. But yeah,
they Clement could announce it for 2023 or 2024.
Clement Aubert is in the chat. What's going on, Clement? Long time no see. Hope you're well. General Spartan is here with us, and like this, he says, "Good morning, panel. Been listening since your first show, but couldn't chat because I was working. So now I'm off on Sundays. Well, that's good to know, General. And thanks for being here, Stubbs. What's happening? He loves the fact I'm repping the Gears. Lost Forever's in the chat as well. Is Oddworld Collection coming to Xbox? Great question. I don't have the answer for you, but maybe someone else could tell you more about that. Let's get over to the Mr. Shaddai. Shaddai, how about you, man? What 3 games do you hope to see at this show?
Yesterday, man, I took some notes. I'm like, you know what? Let's see what they have shown since last year, because, it has been very chaotic. The past year, and sometimes you're trying to refresh your memory what Microsoft have shown. There's a couple of for a lot of people, they are actually waiting for Halo Infinite after all that colossal that happened, and they wanted to see some changes. But that is not my first pick. We already know Halo and all that, but for me, is the cyberpunk setting made by Odd Tales, and that will be the last night. It was shown since E3 2017, and we haven't heard anything from them. And that game, and if you give it a thought, a lot of the games have been coming out with that setting of cyberpunk, and why not add them to the mix? And I went to their page at oddtales.net, and it states that it's currently in production as of 2021. So if that is the case, I expect that to be shown again at E3 if it's possible, because I know since that acquisition of Bethesda, a lot of things have been very, very crunched all together, and you want to take which one is important and which one is not. But that game really interests me since it was shown on, at 2017. The other one will be shown at E3 2019. I thought that it was Lord of the Rings because I thought it was Lord of the Rings. I'm really fan of Lord of the Rings, and that would be Elden Ring. Elden Ring, from software published by Bandai Namco, and like I said, when I saw that forging, I thought it was Lord of the Rings until it said Elden Ring, and we saw that trailer. We expect that to probably show or not, but a lot of people is really, really looking forward to that. I heard it here and there on Twitter. The third one, well, this is more of a wish. That was more of a wish.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have one third one. That will be Everwild. I want to see that one too, because after I could say successful, depending on the person, that will be Immortal Phoenix Rising. So why not, after they show Everwild and after the success of Sea of Thieves, why not show Everwild and the gameplay? Mm-hmm. We might have that little, flashback of Breath of the Wild, but that's another game that I'm really interested of. I hope to pop on this year's E3 2021. But I did had a wish list, one little wish on that one. But since we're talking about whatever is shown lately, so I'm gonna stick with those three.
Very good.
My question on the one from 2017, at a 5-year-old title, at this point, they'd probably pretty much be starting from scratch if they wanted to turn out anything that nobody's gonna go. Really?
I thought not too long ago, because we haven't heard anything. I think it was in 2019, because I had really curious that a lot of the projects have been shown and pretty much explain their not procedure, but where they're going. And supposedly they, unless if I'm wrong, but I have to check. I know I saw that it was something financial that kind of stopped a little bit of the of the production of the game.
I'm talking about more where they were in the technology 5 years ago compared to where they are now.
Oh no, yeah, no, you're you're talking about the last night, which is pixelated. Yeah. But I know that the last time that I wanted it to check, it was because of that. But like you said, compared to the technology from back then to now, that's why I expect at least show another. Hey, it might be like Octopath. You never know, and that would be even greater. So if that is the case, man, is gonna be one of the sleepers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Before we get to Axel, we do have a super chat coming in from our good friend Andy Hard, who drops €2. Hope panel all good and well. Stalker 2 for Andy. He wants to see Stalker 2. That's a pretty cool pick. It's definitely high on some people's radars, not mine so much, but definitely great pick there, Andy. Hope you're well. Jojo the Gamer, what's going on? Thanks for being here and checking out the show. We also got Lethal Terminus in the house. What is going on? We got some new people. We got a lot of familiar faces this morning. Thank you guys for being here and supporting the show, especially early in the AM in most people's neck of the woods. Yes, like Terry says, I want a date for Tunic as well. Great pick. That's a fantastic looking indie game that I think a lot of us are like really super excited to see. So hopefully that one's getting near completion right now. Axel, how about yourself, brother? How are what games are on your particular radar? What top 3?
All right, so I went back to the list and are we talking just Xbox games? Because I thought it was any game.
It can be any. It can be any game.
Okay. So I want to see Bayonetta 3 from Nintendo. If I'm being honest here, I'm a huge Bayonetta fan. The original Bayonetta from Platinum Games on the Xbox 360 was great. The Wii U Bayonetta 2 is the only reason I got a Wii U. And of course, when it re-released on the Switch, I got it as well. So I'm a huge Bayonetta fan. I like her attitude, her sassiness. The powers are really cool. that she does her with her hair weaves, and yeah, I think they're really neat. I don't like beating up angels or on it, so it is what it is though. But other than that, I'm okay with it. The next game I really want to see, and a lot of people might have forgotten about this one, is Black Myth Wukong from the Chinese developers. That game looked phenomenal when we saw it, and it's announced for PlayStation and Xbox, and I believe PC, so it's coming to everything, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm correct. Okay, and I really want to see what the other side of the world is putting out a AAA game. I don't think we've ever had a really good AAA game made in China come out. Anybody know if I'm correct on that? Because I know China has bought games, but I don't know if they've made one from scratch.
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for that one because it could definitely put them on the map. And the last game, of course, is the game that, regardless of anything, regardless of whether it's good or bad, it's going to be what everybody's talking about, is Halo Infinite. I cannot get enough Halo Infinite news, if I'm being honest. They might as well not even call this E3. They might as well just call it HaloCon, because that's all it's going to be about. It's going to be all about Halo. Everybody's going to be talking about Halo. And I can't wait to see the improvements they've made. I want to see some multiplayer. I want to check out Firefight. The Firefight in Halo 5 Guardians is pretty good, especially when you have the burn cards now. But yeah, the Halo 5 Firefight is really that's my go-to game right now when I only have 20 minutes to play. But man, I cannot wait for Halo Infinite. I want to see more of the story. I want to see more of the vistas again. Make sure there's no popping. Hey, maybe see some textures in Echeram's face.
Yeah.
We need that gameplay.
That good stuff. So I cannot wait to see some more Halo Infinite.
Oh yeah,
those are my picks.
Great picks. And before we get to Scrub Nurse and his picks, let's catch up with Sir X-Man, who drops $2 in the super chat and says Xbox shows us a new Knights of the Old Republic exclusive to Xbox. Now that would certainly catch a lot of attention, Mr. X-Man. Wishful thinking, don't think it's going to happen, but we like where your head is going. And never say never. I just don't think it would be something we'd see at this particular show. But boy, like I said, we've heard the rumors, things associated with Xbox, and most particularly Obsidian, ever since they came back into the fold, that the potential is there.
I got it. Sam Fisher becomes a Jedi. There you go. Perfect game right there.
Well, hey, that might be the only way we see him if somebody else takes over the character and brings him back, because I don't know what the heck Ubisoft is doing with Sam, but seems like they got him in some kind of video game purgatory over there. Scrub Nurse, what 3 games are on your radar?
Well, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but definitely Halo. I want to see some gameplay. I want to hear them talk about the game, get their full breakdown of it. We know it's coming out. I want to see actual gameplay. Stay away from the CGI trailer. If you want to do a CGI trailer as a little snippet, fine. But everybody knows that's what we're looking for. We want to look for some gameplay. You can give me some little tidbits about the story or whatever, but we want to know where it was to how it is now and the work that the devs have been putting in. So that one's high on my list. Also, since it's been rumored and saying that it's going to be in Mexico, I want to see where Forza Horizon is going. If it's going to be, the end of this year, if it's going to be the beginning, the first of this next year, I want to see Horizon. I love that game. I play Forza Horizon 4 at least a couple of times a month, even though this game has been out forever. It's gorgeous. And anytime you come back to it, it's always fun. It's not a game where you come back and, oh man, the controls are not as great or the visuals aren't that great. We know that Playground, they put out great games, which leads me to my next one I want to see, which we probably won't get much for, is Fable. I think that's still a little ways out. They had a little snippet that they gave us, I think, just to quell the fans' push for wanting to see something about Fable. It was like the biggest secret that was not a secret last year. So I'm interested to see if they have anything. I might take a CGI trailer and be happy with that and keep rolling, because I don't believe it's coming out next year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want that chicken to reappear?
Yeah. I want to kick it and have it show back up. Yeah.
The greatest Fable trailer, I think, would be like just seeing somebody's feet moving through the grass, some vistas showing up in the background and stuff. And then just all of a sudden you see a chicken and the person just football kicks that chicken out of here. And it goes, "Oh, welcome back, chicken kicker."
Yeah. And
hello, chicken chaser. It's been a long time.
And also, Newf,
exactly.
I want to share my screen real quick, because I didn't know if anybody else has seen this. Let's see here. There we go.
Is it Operation exclusive for Xbox? No, I'm kidding.
But this was posted on UK Xbox UK the other day, and they said, Battlefield just DM'd us this. I don't know how many people saw this when it was posted on Twitter, but I want to see.
Can you open that up?
It's not opened up. There you go. How about that? But basically, this was sent. You don't get much information out of it, but I want to see if Battlefield is going to have something with Xbox. Are they going to announce Game Pass? Or are they going to announce some kind of, if you pre-order, you get something exclusive to Xbox? What's going on with this? I mean, they didn't put this out saying, hey, PlayStation, such and such. So something's going on there. It's been rumored that this is coming to Game Pass for the last couple of weeks. So I would like to get some clarity, see what's going on. Maybe that might be a little bit surprise for E3. So that's what I got.
Nice.
I'm hoping for.
Great stuff. I love everybody's suggestions. I'm going to try to make mine real quick here, guys, and I will start by saying, yes, no surprise. I probably said this a million times, and I'm right up there with those who picked Halo Infinite. Yes, we've seen it a little bit, but I'm really interested to see how far it's come since last year, and of course the fiasco that followed. Of course, everybody making big things about the visual representation that we saw, and that sort of thing. And I guess the question that a lot of us had, was the build last year, up until people complained, was that the build that we were supposed to get? I mean, that's the thing we're all wondering. I think it was. I think originally that was the build we were going to get, but until the fans kind of spoke up and went, yeah, this is not looking, this doesn't even look like Halo 5 level good. They kind of went back to the drawing board a little bit and basically spent, pretty much the last year refining and tweaking. Now, like I said, we're hearing good things about it so far. Lots of positive feedback in the right direction, at least from the Xbox community. I know there's other people out there that just can't wait to hate on this game. They've already got the pitchfork waiting, and that's the saddest part about this whole thing. Like, people should just be excited that Halo is back. But the fact that there's a section of the community out there with the pitchforks waiting to go, ready to pixel by pixel break down this game, it's got to be sad, and I'm sure that 343, they've got to really tune out the noise, and they got to listen to the true fans who are really excited to have it back. Based on this,
I love it. I love it when they zoom in the picture 300 times and go, look, jagged edge. Really?
Oh, exactly, Paul. We've seen that, right? It's brutal, and it's like those ones that you go back when they show that one person shows the in-game engine picture, like actual, like from the game running, and then the other person takes this really like blown up 4K image of like a cutscene, like a CGI render. Go look at the graphics here. Like, come on, dude. Like, we're not stupid, right? So
yeah.
But anyway, I'm excited for Halo Infinite. I think it's going to be amazing. But like Stubbs said in the chat, and you guys have also mentioned, we need to see some gameplay. We definitely, I think, majority of us really want to see. Like, I don't think we're worried that much about the multiplayer. I think they're just going to come out and knock that out of the park. I think we're really concerned as to how this campaign is going to work. There have been some articles out there suggesting that it's not as open world as you think. And of course, other people saying, well, it's going to have better graphic, but it's not top tier, whatever that means. And the graphics in Halo are always open to interpretation. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I think it's going to look a lot better, and that's the main thing. And I think as long as the story is done right by Master Chief, and again, we're pretty sure that 343 are going to nail the mechanics. So I'm not worried about there. So I'm really excited about Halo. I don't want to go too far in depth on it, but I definitely think that's probably they're going to open the show most likely with Halo, because it's the one game that we kind of know about, so it's not a surprise. So they're going to open with, I think you always, when you open with Halo, you can never really go wrong. Then it's just to back the show up with some meat and potatoes, and perhaps close the show on a big side note, which we're going to talk about that in a second. Anthony Chipmunk is in the house. What's going on? Clement Aubert says he would love a Dark Souls type game from Xbox Studios, which is definitely a possibility. After Halo, though, guys, that's where it gets interesting. For me, I would love, honestly, to see nothing more than more of Hellblade 2. Is that going to be a possibility, an expectation? I don't know. I mean, we know it's coming along in development. We've seen some pictures recently from Ninja Theory showing off the costumes and some of the mocap and different things that are going to work behind the scenes. I'm super excited for Hellblade 2. I think a lot of fans are in general, and certainly if you're an Xbox fan, you definitely got to be excited for it. Definitely looks like a really cool game, and it definitely gets rid of that. It's the kind of game that really the Xbox community has cried out for. That story-based, graphical, amazing kind of game. So I think it's going to hit on all cylinders, and they've heard the community loud and clear. So hopefully they get rid of some of the things that people really didn't like so much about the first game. I'm pretty sure it's going to be far more expansive. They got a bigger budget and bigger team, so we would expect nothing less out of the talents over at Ninja Theory. After that, though, it gets interesting for me, because I just like to see something that other studios are doing. People like Compulsion Games, you know what I mean? Like these studios here. Find out more about what they're doing, perhaps what's on the docket next for Obsidian. But outside of that, I mean, honestly, too, I would love to see a new Forza. I'd love to see a Forza, some kind of something on Forza. What would be Forza 8 at this point? I don't really want to see what Playground is doing so much. Because I would really like to get back to seeing what Turn 10 has got up their sleeve, because we know they've been retooling things. I think even switching to a new engine, and we've always known that Forza has been one of the showcase titles for new Xbox hardware. So almost amazes me the fact that there was no Forza releasing alongside the Xbox Series X and S. But hey, I think it's a good thing. Like I said, when you don't kill a franchise but putting it out annually, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It drives more hype. It gets people more genuinely excited, not just here's another one, here's another one, here's another one, and it becomes repetitious. So those would be kind of my picks. Definitely in tune for some surprises as well. Let's catch up with the chat real quick. I think we did have a super chat coming in.
Yes.
Or maybe let me see. Did I miss another super chat? No, from Sir X-Men, and we got one right here. And this one comes in from our good friend Calantis. Killianitis? Is that it? Or Killantis?
Killantis.
I'm trying to make sure I pronounce it right.
Yeah.
Killanitis. I think it's Killanitis. I think it's Killanitis. I'm going to go with
right.
Killanitis.
Killanitis, yeah.
Killanitis. Killanitis. I'm excited to see what Xbox will show. With it being the 20-year anniversary, I'm expecting at least one big announcement. So my next question for everybody in the panel, and anybody can jump in on this one, just like, where is your expectation level this year? Because we've heard in the past, this is going to be this big A3. This is going to be a bigger and better E3. We're going to see more games than ever before. Do you think Microsoft eases that back just a little bit because of being a COVID? Maybe games are a little bit further out. How do you feel they're going to come in with this one? You think it's going to be really heavy? Because did somebody say, or did I hear this wrong, that the show was aiming to be about 90? Was it 90 minutes?
Yeah,
I heard in about 90 minutes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of games in 90 minutes if you think about it.
But we've also seen 2 hours and not as best as we want. I believe that it's going to be a show case for Halo with a little bit of tips and tricks. I don't have any inside information. I don't know if they're going to announce any studio anything. But if you look back in the last 3 years, especially for Xbox and Microsoft diehards, it's just wait. This E3 is going to be the E3. And next year, this one is the one that really go. And Xbox really has, just been an even kill show every E3 the last 3 years. But they've been putting a lot of their big stuff just sprinkled out throughout the year. Oh, we got this acquisition. We just acquired this game. This is going to go straight in the game all through the rest of the year. And I think this has been a slow, steady buildup of how they're fighting back to get mind share against, Nintendo and PlayStation. Do I have my hopes up? Yes. I will never tell somebody tamp down their expectations, because we need those high expectations, or a company will not strive to meet them. It is a business, of course, and if we don't push, they'll never do more and more. But I don't think it'll be just this, you're falling out of your chair. Oh my God. All right, next 5 minutes. And this too. But if you look at these last 3 years, it could definitely be that, where it's been building up to this date and showing that. But I don't believe it will be.
Well, actually, I would disagree with you. This is their 20 year. I expect for 90 minutes, I expect some of that's going to be wrapped around where have we been, where have we come from, and where are we going in the last 20 years.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. But I was dealing.
I think that it's all going to be wrapped in Halo wrapping paper.
Yeah,
great point, Paul.
I'm more of the, they just bought this studio. Oh, this game that nobody knew about has just been in, I
don't think they're going to focus on that at all.
That's not going to be part of the show.
Nope.
So if that's
but Bethesda's going to be the exception.
Correct.
It's going to be a Halo package with some Bethesda stream filling.
I disagree with Paul. I think it's going to be a Halo wrapper with a Halo cake with Halo filling.
Because
it's all about Halo.
No, they're sharing the stage with Bethesda. It says right in the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Bethesda is going to show off. Is going to be Master Chief armor skin for the Doom guy. All right.
Good God, no. Because that was a big deal. They are going to push the whole, where were we 20 years ago and where are we now thing, and it's all going to be wrapped around it.
But the question will be: will they show anything? Probably, let's say they'll show at least like a banjo just to show the 20th anniversary. You know what I mean? At least something that actually represent that 20, other than common sense Halo. But sometimes it's good to have either 2 or 3 that actually made Xbox popular.
I expect a sizzle reel of all the different titles through the last 20 years.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely expect a sizzle reel showing the technology changes over the last 20 years.
Definitely.
That will include some of the other games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that'll probably take a good few minutes out of that. Okay. I think it's going to be a very tight show, basically.
Yes.
There's not going to be a lot of free time. There's not going to.
How about this next question then? Let's talk about this, and let's get everybody. I think this is part of the first topic where I asked you guys, like, any kind of thing that you could think of, what would be a big surprise? And this could be a hardware related, a studio announcement, like something outside of just your general, okay, I'm excited for games 1, 2, and 3, but maybe something like, even in your perfect world, something that, just theoretically going on, and be realistic with it, mind you. Not like, hey, Xbox buys every other game company kind of deal. But what do you like? What would you like to kind of see like that? Something that just kind of, whoa, I didn't expect to see that coming.
For Xbox or E3 as a whole?
Go for it on either one, but I'd love to hear more of the Xbox. But for anything, whatever that you think would be like a really huge announcement at the show.
Well, for like, I don't really know what I could say for that would be like like something that would really blow everybody away for like on Xbox side. I guess if they could bring back like some. Like do like a remaster or bring back something from like way back when, that would be pretty amazing. But as for E3 as a whole, I think everybody's still pretty much waiting for Ubisoft to, surprise us with, a new Splinter Cell. That still hasn't happened. If Ubisoft comes out Saturday and says, hey, we're finally making a new Splinter Cell, that's going to be the talk of the town for, most of E3. So That'd be pretty major. But for Xbox, I guess if they announce the sequel to Crimson Skies, then that would be a shocker. You know what I mean? Like that would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really think of anything though that'd be really surprising though for Xbox, just because they have. I think their focus now is just on new IPs and things that they're bringing in from their current studios. I don't really think they're gonna surprise us with bringing back something from 20 years ago, despite the fact that they're celebrating their anniversary. But maybe they will. Who knows?
Nice. Anybody else?
I gotta agree with Terry. I feel like Splinter Cell could overshadow Halo because people have been waiting for it.
Mm-hmm.
So that one could be the bombshell announcement. But for me,
Ubisoft is day one, right? Ubisoft is not only day one.
That's right.
They're number one. They start off everything. If they were to start off the whole of E3 with, "Hey, here comes Sam Fisher," yeah, you can forget about the next 3 days because that's all everybody's gonna be talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, no. For me, I would like some sort of collector's editions to be announced. Those are awesome for me. So, as you know, I'm a collector. So, the Halo Collector's Edition, the Halo Infinite Collector Edition, it could cost $500. I'm probably gonna buy it. My wife will be mad at me, but I'm gonna buy it. We'll deal with the consequences later. But I was kind of hoping that we would get a Series X Halo edition, but with the microchip shortage and the demand right now, I don't think it's going to happen. So it's probably going to be just a box collector's edition. That would get me really excited for Halo. But yeah, I don't think I could top anything other than Sam Fisher and Splinter Cell as far as being a huge announcement. I think that could seriously steal the show and steal the spotlight.
Yep.
I have one. I have one.
Go ahead.
I know I wrote in other podcasts. I wrote it because on comments, because there's one game that a lot of people be wondering. Like, I hope they make a sequel to this game. It has been underrated, but they're looking on top of that. So I wrote, the screen is dark. Sword clashing, magic chanting. We hear a familiar sound. The screen turns black and says, Lost Odyssey 2. Phil comes out and says, we read your feedbacks and we listen. Hironobu Sakaguchi and I joined once again to bring you exclusively to Xbox platform, Lost Odyssey 2. Oh yeah, Miss Walker Corp is our newest studio to our Xbox family.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, our people are gonna go crazy for that, because why do I see that? Is because remember that Microsoft and Japan is not well set up there. So now that they have Tango Gameworks and having Miss Walker, now is placing a little bit further to the Japan territory, because they're looking for that audience too, since they're not good at it. So if that ever happens, that will fire the people. Now they're gonna have two different types of RPG, the Western and the JRPG. So that's a good mix to the show.
I like where your head's at. Not sure it's going to happen, but that's what we're talking about. It's theoretical things that you just never know. Speaking of people in the chat, Sir X-Men's been hanging out with us, and he drops another $2 super chat surprise with the new Mech Assault or Crimson Skies. I've seen a lot of people in the chat kind of lean back to Xbox history with some older title IPs kind of be brought up, and that's a great point. I wouldn't totally be against that. Hey, we got the one and only Wilmy Hood from Gaming Beyond the Boxes in the house. Thanks for gracing us with your presence, Mr. Wilmy. Good to see you here. He says, Scrub Nurse, you'll have to be, hired as a new drummer from Microsoft, apparently.
I'll take it. Let's go.
PlayStation with the flu and him with the drums.
Did anybody see that Mario O'Donnell tweeted out that he might retire from gaming completely?
Yeah, what's that all about?
No, man. Ooh, that's gonna be tough, because he created the legendary Halo sounds, amongst others, but that's his biggest one right there.
Yeah. I was kind of shocked when he left. When he left Bungie and he left the Destiny scene, that I thought that Microsoft might have hired him internally with one of their studios or brought him back to 343, but something like that. But who knows?
Back on the topic real quick.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. It's been rumored that Ubisoft is going to become part of Game Pass, and I think if they're going to announce that, it will be at E3.
Okay,
Right.
and do you think that Ubisoft would be the one to announce it, or you think they'd leave it for Microsoft?
I think they would. I think they would probably do a joint thing with Microsoft.
Mhm.
Whether they do it at the beginning, at theirs, or at Microsoft, I don't know. But
Yeah, good. That's a great one, Paul. Good stuff.
We have seen in past E3s where one company will show the game and then the console company shows the same game. So it's possible they both could just do it.
Mhm.
And
Bill
Ubisoft would just have the.
Bill could be out on stage for their thing, and all of a sudden, here comes the guy from Ubisoft, or vice versa. During the Ubi thing, Phil walks out, says, "Wait, we got an announcement to make."
Can we get a clap for Rick Payne in the chat? All I want for E3 is some gameplay and release dates. Amen to that, Mr. Rick. It's time to put some stamps. At least get us knowing when the release windows are supposed to be, as opposed to just here's a game and it's coming God knows when in the next 3 years kind of deal. Like
or premiere and that's it.
Just premieres and then wait.
World premiere.
I think it would be hilarious if Phil Spencer pulled off a Yeezy during the Ubisoft thing, came in on stage, took the mic, said, "Wait, I'm gonna let you talk, but let me just say something." And Phil's got the kind of sense of humor where he would do something like that.
Yeah.
The question is, would he let himself be tackled by Sam Fisher?
Yeah. Go ahead, Terry.
I was gonna say, I think because it's something that we've talked about quite a bit here, as well as I see it on Twitter, is people have been talking about Rise Son of Rome quite a bit, and that was a game that was great, but it didn't get that reception that I felt that it deserved. So if they were to announce something to do with that IP and bring that back, that could be big for Xbox too.
Mm-hmm.
Not as big as Halo or some of the other ones, but I think it would still have impact.
No, you know what other one would that be? Sorry, Paul. Go right ahead.
That game has held up so well. I mean, if you look at it, that was a launch game for the original, the one, and it's amazing. So
the other one that I had on mind, sorry, before we switch over real quick, is because remember right now we have all the Yakuzas in the on Game Pass and all that. I thought also Condemned coming back, since they have a really good connection with Sega. So and Condemned Criminal
awesome.
Origins was really
that was
good.
Such a good game. Like, I don't like horror games. Like, I do not like horror games, but Condemned was amazing. Like, that one was more action, so I was able to get through that one. It was fantastic.
Right, and all this 20th anniversary of Sonic, and then they're trying to say Microsoft might buy Sega, and something like that. You never know. And I'm like, bring back Condemned and say Condemned 3. That's another one that could be a really shocker.
I'm looking for maybe like a dark horse of a fighting game, maybe something like a Killer Instinct. I know that's probably not going to happen, but the fan base has been begging for that for such a long time. That would be something that if you're going to say wow the fans, really, is to bring back Killer Instinct, or at least give a sizzle reel saying that it is in it is in talks, or we have been moving on it, and it's coming.
Okay, this is definitely a super chat worthy tweet coming out of Wilmy Hood. I will do a hot tub stream if they bring back Condemned.
Oh goodness!
That's why I started laughing about it. I can't believe he actually said that.
The whole Gaming Beyond the Box crew is going to do their show from the hot tubs. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Oh my god!
Beards and tubs. That's all it's going to be.
Yeah. Bomber, Dreadpool, Wilmy, and Forkboy in particular.
Well, they'd have to wear shorts because Husk would have to get out every 5 minutes.
Yes, he would.
Is Forkboy's patch allowed in the tub right now?
No, Husk Pool would probably be yellow, I'd say, after a while.
From beer. Don't get any bad thoughts, guys.
No bad thoughts. I'm just going to put mine out there real quick and just say that Here, and this is going right out on a limb. One, I would love to see an Xbox Mini.
Isn't that kind of too soon? If that
No, I mean 20 years, and the fact that right now, like, retro gaming is super hot. I mean, you strike while the iron's hot, and you do a retro mini. You know, like that big behemoth just shrunk down in size, and and a bunch of old Xbox games packed in. I mean, technically, you could say, well, like they're on GamePass, so they're back and pat. But it's I still think it'd be really cool to have a lot of those fantastic titles packed into a little mini, and the ability to even add a few more games or some, or even perhaps even be able to hook it up where like you actually would have an Xbox account and still be able to play some of the backwards compatible ones that perhaps aren't added to the console, but if they add them in the future, you'd still have the ability to sort of play it online. Does that make any sense? That would be cool, and that would sort of give it a leg up on the previous console, the retro consoles that came out. I think it'd be cool, and I think a lot of people in the chat would probably definitely dig it. Something else I think, Mike, and this one I think could be a realistic possibility, that they unveil the purchasing of a new studio. Now, will it be as big as the announcement of Bethesda? Not likely, but I think it'll be big enough to cause a stir. I don't think they've sat idle since that purchase. I think now that that one's kind of done and the ink is dried, they're going to come out swinging again with another fairly major purchase. And like I said, whether it's a purchase or perhaps turns into a partnership, as Eternal kind of lead it out with something going on with Sega, that could be a possibility as well. But whatever it is, it's going to be kind of big.
Jet Set Radio. I forgot to add that too.
Or they bring back as well. They bring back an iconic IP. They kind of come out and say, here is something you've been waiting for a long time. So boom, we finally do see a Banjo-Kazooie, or we see a Conker, or we see something that, Mech Assault, or the Crimson Skies, or various, some of those old ones. I know Phil Spencer has said numerous times he has massive love for Crimson Skies. Now the question is, it's not like whether we had loved the game or he loves the game. The question is, how do you sell those IPs to the newer generations who didn't grow up playing those?
Not for nothing. Now that you mentioned Crimson Sky, after the success of Microsoft Flight Sim, I wouldn't be surprised if Asobo touches that game too. And that would be really great.
You know how you introduce it so the younger generation gets into it? You put it in Fortnite first.
Yes.
Or Psychonaut, just for
make a Fortnite skin.
All you gotta do is put like the plane in Fortnite, and you got it.
Well, and one thing they had back in earlier Flight Simulator, they had Combat Flight Simulator.
Oh, if
which was an actual fighting game with World War II guns or planes and such.
Not a bad idea.
Andy Hart dropping another $2 in the super chat. Condemn was awesome. We need another one. Seems to be a unanimous decision, and people really like Condemn. Condemn was a really cool game. Clement Ober, he drops $2 in there. He says, great podcast, Newf. I love it. Well, thank you, Clement. Greatly appreciated. All right. Any further thoughts on this before we get to Terry? Because this one's dragged in a little bit. So this gives you a great indication of how next week's show is probably going to go. We'll have more about next week's show after this show ends. So unless anybody else says something else you want to add, who didn't have a chance to speak up or give their 2 cents?
No, I think we're good.
Everybody's good? What? If I hear any kids say that's the guy from Fortnite when they see Master of Halo, I'm going to lose it. Well, it's happened, unfortunately. That's the sad part, is people think Master Chief is somehow a character now from Halo or from Fortnite. It's like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, it's like when that band gave Ozzy his big break last year, Before that, they'd never heard of Ozzy,
Wow. My God, really?
This, guys. You know how you guys think about the 50s and the 60s when you were little? That's how the kids are thinking right now when we were born.
That's true.
I love the 50s, man. They had some awesome stuff in the 50s.
But
I'll pass on the 50s. I'll pass on the 50s.
The bad part is that we fantasize so much of a return that when they just I hope this happened and he just gets squashed. You're like, oh, that's the bad part about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point though. Like you got to cut them some slack because I bet you a lot of us, like prior to Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone, I didn't know a lot of the action stars and movies that came generations beforehand. I'm like, who's that guy? So outside of John Wayne and Clint Eastwood and perhaps Charles Bronson and a few of those guys, I couldn't tell you half those people are. I mean, most people don't even know who Jackie Chan is. I mean, the man was around doing movies long before he got popular over here with Rumble in the Bronx, and then his career kind of took off, in North America kind of deal. But like that's what I'm saying. It's the way that stuff gets kind of forgotten about. So you got to cut them some slack, I suppose, because like I said, if you're not growing up in that generation and you don't have constantly parents or people around you that kind of educate you on stuff with gaming, then they don't really know any better, So yeah. That's why if you put a 16-bit console down in front of like kids these days, they're like, this stuff is absolute crap. Like, what the heck? And you're just like, man, that was my childhood. You just broke my heart, So,
but it's true because when I was young, I had a Nintendo, right? And we bought an Atari, and I had heard of Atari, and playing some Atari 2600 games. I'm like, how do you even play this? What's the point of this? I could not figure it out as a young child because it didn't make sense to the way games had moved on, the input out and reactions, right? So, now that I have nieces and nephews, I show them something that's like an N64, and they're like, how do you even see anything in this? Everything's just so blurry. They don't get it. They just don't.
They take for granted how far the technology's come. The stuff that we had to endure, our first internet games and the dial-up internet.
Oh God!
Loading in
online on the Dreamcast.
Oh my God!
Hang up the phone.
All right, we got an amazing 55 people watching the chat. This is awesome, amazing show here, guys. Thank you so much for the support, each and every one of you. Did I miss a super chat, guys? I think I got it. Clement was the last one I saw, but I'm hoping I didn't miss any.
Yeah, that was the last one.
Okay, yeah, we're good. We're caught up. So now let's get caught up with Terri. CoolCat Terri, it is her time to shine. It is the indie spotlight right here on Good Morning Xbox. So I'm going to let you take it away, and let's get you in here.
All right, you guys. As always, each week I bring you guys a new indie game that you may not have heard about, or maybe you did and you kind of passed it up. So I wanted to show this one off. I try to pick ones that are on Xbox, but this week I picked one out that is not on Xbox. But I hope you guys will still check it out. This one is going to be something that's going to appeal to the old school gamers. This one is going to, you're going to notice, this one's going to have a lot of like retro gaming references in there. So this is for you guys.
Enter your game. Take into a game. Save the classics. Uniquely engaging mechanics. Cartoon boss fight. Tons of weapons and power-ups. Endless more. Cooperative Survivor. Juanito Arcade.
All right, so
I love it already. I love it.
This game was made by a small little company. You can go ahead and close all that off.
Okay.
Figure out how I ended. There it is. Okay, so you go ahead and this one was made by a small company in Argentina called Game Ever. They've made a couple other little games, but as you saw, this was a satire with a lot of retro games like Pong and Tetris. You saw Donkey Kong in there, some Pac-Man. I will do a spoiler in there. Ninja Turtles are in the game too. There's a bunch of other ones that I won't reveal. That's for you guys to have some surprises still. So it's really fantastic. The premise of the game is you're a boy and you're having fun playing all your favorite like classic arcade games, and then everything starts effing up, and you're like, what's going on? and there's like this corruption that's destroying these games, and you don't want to see these games die forever, so you get sucked into your arcade games, and you're in there shooting at the corruption and trying to save these games so they don't get destroyed. It's really, really cool. Fantastic satire. It does have the co-op and survival mode in there for those of you that want to have some good fun. Now, it's $10 on Steam. All right. And for those of you who don't do PC, it's also on mobile. I checked out I have Android, and it's free on Android. I don't know if it's free for Apple as well, but you can at least check it out and get it on your phone if you don't do PC. So this way it's still available for everybody. So it's a fantastic little game. I had a lot of fun playing it. I also raged a lot because I'm not really good at shoot 'em up games. I always get overwhelmed with all the things falling on me, but it's still a good time. And it's a fantastic game, like I said, that did a great job playing, homage to some of the classics. So that's for all the retro gamers out there. I hope you guys enjoy it.
That was cool. And it's kind of funny because right before you preview that game, we were talking about retro games and people wouldn't recognize them. And I bet you if you show that game to like probably 90% of the public today, they wouldn't have a clue what the heck the backgrounds were, But that was really cool. Another great pick from you, Terry. Like, you're just killing this stuff every week.
And they use my name too, so I'm watching it. I'm watching it.
There you go. So Juanito.
Is the soundtrack pretty good on this, Terry?
What's that?
Is the soundtrack pretty good on this?
Oh, the soundtrack's amazing.
Yeah, because I'm seeing it's for sale individually on Steam, and usually they don't do that unless they're good.
Yeah. So when you play the game, like when Donkey Kong comes out, they changed his name, because they don't have like the licensing for it for the stuff, but you know who he is.
So that means not called Donkey Kong, he's gonna call Burro. It's the same thing as Donkey.
Well, what people will see when they start playing the game? Oh, that's the character off of Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Rick Quiet just confirmed that it is free on Apple Store as well. So those of you that want to do the mobile version, you can play it for free. So go ahead and check it out.
Yeah,
there you go, guys. Cool. You heard it right here from CoolCat Terri.
The mag is all in.
What? Who? What?
Yeah, the mag literally just started downloading it after seeing the trailer.
Oh, look at that. See? There you go. Hey, if only one or two people go up and pick a game simply because Terry highlighted it, then it's a win. Bottom line. Yes. Right? Because that's how popularity grows, right?
Once again, the game is called Juanito Arcade Mayhem. All right.
Indeed. And cheers to you, Mr. Stubbs, in the chat. Now, Stubbs is one of the good guys here, guys. And like I said, this podcast and this chat, you guys are amazing. Just steer clear of the junk and the nonsense and the fanboyish kind of stuff, guys. There are other places and other podcasts that just thrive on that, but we're proud that we can say this is not one of them. We love you guys. Dragonheart Yobi's in the chat. Speaking of peace, love, life, there he is, the man himself. We're gamers. We're here to have fun, and the positivity is what it's all about, man. So that's what we do. So good stuff there, guys. Yeah, $10, easy game. Looks like it's a lot of fun. Something you can pick up and play and get into a real quick like. Let's get on to the next.
Hey, quick, Yobi, are you ready to take on Grandpa tonight? Because Grandpa's going to kick your butt in fight night. That's all I'm saying right now. Keep calling me Grandpa, little man.
Oh, sounds like we got a Drago's corner happening between Cerebral Paul and Yobi. That should be interesting. All righty. By the way, Paul, Titan still thinks he won that one.
Titan is oblivious to the real world. Okay, I'm just saying. Yeah.
Oh man. Let's get into the next topic, everybody. Topic number 2. We've seen a lot of this lately, generational speak, so to speak. So my second topic is, are cross-gen games holding back from upgrading to the new hardware? Do you even care? Do you think the cross-gen stuff is really holding stuff back the way people are saying it is? Obviously, not trying to come out, like I said, this is not a bash another company kind of podcast, but one clearly stated that, back compatibility and smart delivery was a huge thing for them moving forward. And I think it's paid off in droves for gamers. They're not buying 2 copies of the same game. They're getting the upgrades 9 chance out of 10. They're getting them free of charge. We've seen this with a lot of games right now on the Xbox, coming over from the Xbox One to the Series X and the S. The competitors, not so much. They were recently, telling people that, we believe in generations, and basically we're more or less saying we're done with the last generation, and now all of a sudden we're seeing a little backpedaling, and we're seeing a lot of these games being released on the older platform, obviously coming out on the new one with the upgraded visuals or frame rates and things like that, which is to be expected. So how do you guys feel about cross-gen games in particular? Do you feel it is holding you back? Do you think it's going to be a deterrent for people to upgrade if they know that they can still get those games looking relatively good and performing relatively well on the current generation of consoles? Anybody can take the floor on this one. I'll chime in last. Go right ahead, Paul. You sound like you're
go
chomping
first?
at the bit. Go for it.
At this point, with COVID slowing everything down and such, I don't have a problem with it at all. I don't think it's going to hold them back at this point. I don't, because especially with Microsoft, they've had the dev kits about a year now, so they're still working their way up, as it were. So I think at this point, no, I don't have a problem with the cross-gen stuff. Give it another year or two. By about probably 2023, 2024, I expect them to mostly be done with it, though. At that point, they should definitely be making 85% of the games, at least for the new gen only. Especially since we'll be midstream at that point, probably getting the refresh console by then too. So,
no doubt.
That's just the way it works. That's just the way it's going to work.
Yeah. I'm not having a problem with the cross-gen stuff just because I have an Xbox, and Microsoft and Phil and all the guys and getting these games ready, back compat, and then being able to, when you do eventually, if you can get a Series S or an X, you can sit there and upgrade the game like Paul was saying. Most of the time with no problem, you just sit there, you put in your game, and it says, oh, here's the X version of it, S version, and you keep rolling. For people who don't have an Xbox, yes, that would be more of a problem, I believe, because that's one reason I don't have a PS5. One of the reasons. The other reason is can't get one. It's getting harder and harder. But to be able to get a game and then not know if you're going to get a cross-gen, or you bought the game on your PS4 Pro, and then you get a PS5, and then either there's a chance you might have to buy the game again, or there's problems trying to get it upgraded. There might be paying for it. It's kind of up in the air. I think Microsoft jumped on that real quick before these consoles came out, letting everybody know if you do have this game, you will be able to play it on your on your series. But then if they have an upgrade for it, you won't have to pay for that upgrade. And I think Xbox did a great job on doing messaging for that to let everybody know, get the game on whatever console you want to, and then you'll be able to play that game. Like Paul said, I don't really see them having series only games maybe till about 2023, because also you got that GamePass situation going on. So you want everybody to be able to play it. So I think they did a great job. It doesn't bother me at all. Do I think it will hold back what the games look like? No, if you're making it, especially first party, if you're making it where you have a dedicated series version and then Xbox One version. So we'll just see how the rest of the drama goes over the year or so. But I'm glad Xbox jumped on that and let everybody know first off.
For me, I have a different perspective on it. I feel if it's a game that's going to be third party, multi-plat, then I'm fine with it being cross-gen, because those games are already everywhere, anywhere. That's the whole point. They're multi-plat. Just put them on everything. But when it comes to your first-party games, I honestly feel those should not be cross-gen. Those are the games that are going to be your biggest incentive to sell your new console. So you should be pushing to get more people to convert over versus letting them just stay there longer on the current one. Also, when it comes to the development side, a lot of the times, you can get the upgrade to make them look a little nicer and smoother on the current generation, but they're not made for that. So you're not getting everything you can out of it. And so when you look at your generations, if just look at PS4 for an example.
Mhm.
If you look at the games that came out at the beginning of PS4 when they were still doing cross-gen with PS3, compared to your big exclusive games that came out mid to end of the generation, they look so much better. It's like that. It was like they already had a new system come out, and that's what happens when you do cross-gen. That there is a huge difference between those games at the start of a generation compared to the end.
But
yeah, they should focus.
That's part of the normal development cycle anyway.
Yeah, because those games are oftentimes they're made for the last gen, and then they just do a little spoof and they spruce it up a little bit for the other one. They're not made for it, so they're not next gen games. They're just not. They're not made for that console in mind. They're made for the previous one, and then they do what they can to enhance it a little bit. If they put that focus in to make it for the new consoles, make them as good as they can, and like I said, it's going to push the sales on those new consoles. I think it's just better overall.
I don't think they're in a place right now to push the sales for the new consoles.
I'm talking in general. In general because they've been doing cross-gen for the last 20 plus years. So I'm talking in general.
But we're always told I'm looking at my Twitter. We've been told, Sony's never really done cross-gen from first party, which supposedly is pretty much true. I mean, if you look at it, but this year is a whole lot of different. This year is not the regular puppy in the pound.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand there's a shortage for this one, but if you even exclude that, even if we didn't have the shortage, they would have done it anyway. So I don't want to see that.
Not to the extent they are. I think not to the extent they are.
I think they would have. I honestly do because they have been doing this.
I don't think Sony would be backstepping the way they are if they had.
Well, that's different from Xbox. I think Xbox still would have done it. I think it would have.
I do. I feel like I said. I strongly feel when it comes to your first party games, they should not make those cross-gen. They need to push to have that incentive for you to upgrade to the new product.
Well, part of that too is, and people need to remember this. Some of our release games for the next gen have been in process for 4 years before that, 5 years before that, and they just now, or 9 months before release, got the new dev kits.
Right.
So there's always going to be a little bit of cross-gen leak over. First party or not,
they actually can avoid that because we've seen plenty of games that are made yearly or every 2-3 years. So they literally get those dev kits in that time
those
period.
Those are cookie cutter. That's
I get that,
they're
but
not
still,
Madden. They're not all Madden. Okay.
But Call of Duty is one of the best-selling games out there, and they do that every year.
But they're
definitely cookie cutter. Yeah,
they are cookie cutter. They are cookie cutter. But I'm saying, if they get those dev kits well enough in advance, they could make some. They could make some exclusive games that are not cross-gen. It is definitely possible. You may not get that big God of War tier game right away, but you could get something smaller scale.
Yeah.
And still have some great games. I mean, look at like when Xbox One came out, they had Titanfall. All right. That wasn't a huge scale game, but they still had a really good, solid game that they made a sequel to later on. They could literally do something like that. They can make a brand new IP that's on small scale like that. Shooters are popular, and that would be a great way to have a game that isn't cross-gen and it's an exclusive to your console. Yeah. That's what they need to be doing. And then, 2-3 years into that generation, then they start popping out those big blockbuster games that they had more time to develop. You can definitely get away from doing the cross-gen. You can definitely get away from it.
Yeah, well, you both raised some great points. I mean, like Paul said, COVID really threw a big monkey wrench into a lot of studios and developers' plans with how they approach their games. And I don't necessarily disagree with, them bringing out a game for the last gen consoles to maximize, sales potential and marketing and stuff like that. Because these games, like I said, they're costing more than ever before. And I have to bring up Horizon Zero Dawn because that's certainly one of the showpieces right now. Everybody kind of thought at first this was going to be, an exclusive PS5 only title, and then they said, no, well, it's going to come out on PlayStation 4 as well, and Guerrilla just more or less said that the game is going to run on PS4. You're obviously going to expect it to run at a lower resolution and frame rate, and it's also going to have differences in the water. They use the new water technique to make it more fluid and realistic for the PS5, but at the end of the day, it comes down to you and your money. Like, If you haven't upgraded to PS5 because you can't get one, or perhaps it's just not in your plans at the moment, like, these things are going to be different for different people. It's the way you perceive it. I do love how Microsoft approached it. Like I said, with most companies giving you sort of that upgrade free of charge, not double dipping at all. So I think that's the big pro consumer move, is not double dipping on consumers. If you go back to 2013, I remember when Tomb Raider came out, right? And it was almost at the end of the Xbox 360 generation, the reboot. And then in 2015, they came out with the definitive version. Now, I didn't mind going back and paying again for the definitive because it definitely did look a lot better, ran a lot better. And they obviously went back and put in the work. This wasn't just like a very small undertaking that, they went back and tried to capitalize on that game. So, kind of bought it twice, essentially, when you think about it. But I also agree with Terry's point. Like, when you're investing so much money, whether it's a PC, new graphics card, new console, when you're investing that kind of much money, and you look over and say, well, I'm spending $10 more per game, or I'm spending, X amount to buy this game, and yet it's still somehow playable and looks pretty damn good on the older hardware. Like, where is that really incentive to upgrade? Like, I guess it depends on how you look at it. Because for a lot of people, like, the upgrade from especially like the original Xbox One versions of a game playing on the Xbox Series X, for example, perfect example, Cyberpunk. Try playing that game on the original Xbox, the VCR model, and try playing it on a Series X. It's night and day how much better the game looks and runs. It's crazy, and it's so hard to go back to that older version. I think that's how a lot of people feel. So, like, it's kind of a win-win, but at the same time, it sort of takes the wind out of the sails, that big promotional. Like Terry said as well, with the third-party stuff, you kind of get it because it's available across multiple consoles, and you can play it in a number of different locations. And we see that at the start of every gen. We saw it with Call of Duty Ghosts, how that carried over from 360 to Xbox One, and Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And that was before there was smart delivery and things. You literally had another copy of that same game. Where, like, if you buy Assassin's Creed Valhalla right now, for example, like, you can play it on your Xbox One and it looks pretty damn good, but it looks even better if you got it on a Series X, Series X. So it's an interesting scenario. I don't disagree with it. And Paul raised a valid point. Like, because of COVID right now, I think it's probably a good idea for most developers to try to maximize the return on their investment, because that's, like I said, like, how many people will Horizon not hit this year if it only came out for PS5? The game is going to have staggered sales, and it won't reach its full potential until PS5 is more readily available, kind of deal. And I do believe, isn't it as well with Halo? Am I correct that Halo is coming out on the Xbox One? Am I still correct on that?
Yes.
So how do you think that's going to play? Because this is obviously a new engine. Is it going to be more than the Xbox One can handle? How do you think 343 is going to approach that cross-gen approach?
They're going to have to do a lot of tricks to get that engine to work. The Slip Space engine, while it is capable of being very graphically impressive, I don't think it's going to be anywhere near that on the OG Xbox One. And this comes to, back to your point on Cyberpunk. Those Jag cores are really what's holding back the Xbox One and the PS4. They were underpowered when they launched, and they were underpowered the entire generation. I'm actually surprised that good-looking games came out on the Xbox One and the PS4 because of the Jag cores. But as far as cross-generation games, I'm a fan of them personally. I like them. Especially right now, because Gears 5, like I said, I just started playing with my nephew, and he's playing on the Xbox VCR, that big model with the Kinect on it. So that's all fine and dandy, but there should be some games that don't run. Now, the games that don't run cross-gen need to make sense. Like, do I believe that Demon's Souls couldn't run on the PS4? Not for a minute. I think it could have ran it. If it could run Spider-Man, it could run that game. I'm actually shocked that God of War is coming cross-gen, because that's kind of like the graphical showpiece that PlayStation always puts out. So that one, I was shocked that it was going to be cross-gen. We knew from the beginning that Horizon Forbidden West was going to be cross-gen. So we'll see how the AI interacts like that. The biggest limitation to cross-gen, more so than the visuals, is the AI. the background stuff, the invisible work that your computer has to do, calculating AIs and all this other whatnot.
On some of it's also the SSD is becoming a big issue with cross-gen. Just the speed, the ability of the speed that it can load in those assets, so that you're not sitting there wondering why your game is locking up.
Right.
That is becoming a big issue.
The SSDs, we've moved on, just like we moved on from games loading on CDs, the CD drives, while you could load the information fast enough from a processing point, you could only spin the CDs so fast before they broke apart. I believe like 50 times readers were only as fast as they could get before the CDs literally just shattered. And so that's when we moved to installing 2 hard drives because it was better and more stable. And then now we're moving on from the physical hard drives to the SSDs. The more graphically demanding these games become, the more demanding of the hardware they're going to become. And eventually cross-gen is going to phase out. Being an engineer, every time new graduates come out, like right now, and we start hiring them and talking to some of them, one of the biggest things you hear is like, oh, well, this can do it. An RTX 3090 can do it. And it's like, well, I'm sure an RTX 3090 could do it, but we need to design for an GTX 1060 because that's what everybody has. Right. And, while dreaming of what you could do versus what people are going to buy are 2 different things. Reality hasn't slapped some of these younger engineers in the face yet, the return on investment. Could we design something that only ran on an RTX 3090 with an i9 Extreme processor? Sure, of course we could, but we'll never make our money back on something like that.
What I'm looking forward to that's kind of related. Let me throw this out to real quick.
Yeah.
Flight Simulator on the console, because they have cut down the file size by almost half.
Right.
And so it's going to be interesting to see how it plays on the console compared to how it plays on my PC. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they did to that, because if they've managed to compress the data that much and not lose a lot of the fidelity, hey, winner, chicken dinner. Seriously.
I saw that Flight Simulator got rated for the Xbox One, but I just don't see an Xbox One running Flight Simulator. I'm sorry, I just don't see it.
To me, I think this is definitely more of a business push, especially going into this new situation, going into with our chip shortage and the demand for these new consoles and us not being able to get to the consoles. I think there's a big business decision saying, all right, we know that we're only going to be able to get, because trust me, they know longer than what we knew how many consoles they're supposed to get out at a certain time. And they have enough time to sit there and say, all right, we've been developing this for 2 or 3 years already on this architecture that we already have. Yes, the new architecture is coming out and we can make it for both. You would be cutting out on so many fans and so many consumers if you just went to the new console, especially with everybody sitting here fighting to get these new consoles. You would not be making your money back, let alone getting your critical acclaim for having more people being able to have their hands on this game and to bring more money in. So yes, this is something that happens every generation, but definitely for this generation, it's going to hit more, because if you don't make a lot of these cross-gen games, especially for the first year, going into 2, because we've had that Sony and Microsoft has already talked about when they're going to start having stock that is just sitting on shelves, both saying toward the end of this year. I mean, Microsoft was saying maybe end of July. I don't believe that, but they might be able to pull it off. With them saying that it might be till mid 2022 to end of 22. I don't think you can sit there and have a lot of this stuff on the new gen. Now, what's happening is Sony and Microsoft are always bumping heads on how they're going to show to their fans. And Sony looks like they knew from day one they were going to be in the same situation as Microsoft, but instead of saying anything, they let Xbox fall on that store and take all that hit. And then they waited. They waited till some of that stuff died down. They let all their fans jump on them. They let the hardcore get their turn to say what they have and let it die. And then they tried to slip it back in. Like when they did their showcase, and then right after the showcase, they started putting out their promotional data saying that it was going to be cross-gen, or this just totally contradicting what they were going to say, because they were hoping most people were not going to catch this stuff happening. And eventually this has happened. It happens with Microsoft, but I'm not trying to do console war, but it happens a lot with PlayStation fans as well. Microsoft will do something that might be forward looking, and we're going to get all these people trashing it. Then what happens is all these other gaming companies start doing the same thing later. Now, it had been trashed already with Xbox, but then when they start bringing it in, they're slowly getting their fans used to what's going on. They'll be mad, but they won't be as mad as they were when Xbox first did that. And that's exactly what's happened with PlayStation now. We believe in generations. I mean, it's just straight lying to the fans. There's no excuse about it. It's just straight lying. And then they just got caught on it. When the fans who are sitting here, I'm gonna be a stand. We're better. We're this. We don't have this. Y'all don't have this. We're better. And now it's starting to hit them too. Now they don't have anything to prop themselves and their console on. They're just on the same level as an Xbox player, and that's what's hurting so much.
Yeah. Well, I believe in the case of Ratchet and Clank, I believe that new game, A Rift Apart, benefits from the solid state drive and obviously the performance that's given a PS5. But I would be willing to bet that Ratchet and Clank, A Rift Apart, comes to PS4 at a later date once Insomniac's had time to sit down and figure out how they can reconfigure things to basically run on the PS4 because of the lack of that solid state drive. I mean, Ratchet and Clank is a universal property. It's also a property that is not R-rated. It's a G-rated game. So I would think they'd want that game to be in more places than just on a PS5, which I know probably for the next year or so is still going to have a very limited install base. So I would not be surprised. I mean, if it doesn't, I mean, it doesn't, but I wouldn't be surprised. You know, like I said, it's all about marketing. Go ahead, Terry.
It actually blows my mind how far behind in technology we are when it comes to gaming. The big talk for this generation is SSDs. And SSDs are super flippin' old, man. For those of you who don't know, SSDs have been around since the early 90s. Literally, the Sega Genesis could have been the first console using an SSD. That's how old this is. And it just blows my mind how people are treating SSD like the end all be all. This is like brand new tech. Like, this is amazing. You can do so much. It's like, we've had it for like 30 plus years. And we're just using it now? Like,
for the common consumer, though, it hasn't been out that long.
Right.
It's been less than 10 years for the comic.
I don't know. I've been able to get SSDs since the 90s.
Yeah. So
but what?
It's not popular. That's what it is.
How much they cost
in the 90s,
or how much they cost.
Oh, they're still expensive. They're not cheap.
When hard drives first came out, you want to know how much I paid per meg on a hard drive? $100 per meg.
It's just,
okay.
It's the popularity thing. It's just like when we did like movie media, DVDs were the popular thing, but we had the I forgot what they called them.
Laserdisc.
They had the
other
thing.
Better quality.
Yeah, they had the other thing, but they weren't popular, so they phased out, and we kept a lower quality medium. So we've had a great quality medium forever. It just wasn't popular.
Again, it comes down to financially feasible at the time.
I don't know about that, because people were blasting 80.
Take it from the 50-year-old man.
People were literally spending $80 on games on the NES, which would be equivalent of $300 for a game today with inflation. So no, I don't buy that.
Yeah, but what drives down price is when popular items adopt said technology. That's what drives the price down. And PCs didn't sort of regulate. That's the problem. The PC left it optional for years and years and years, where it was just like, if you were someone like Paul or someone with the know-how and the money, I got my solid state hard drive, and you were enjoying the benefits of it. But that's the thing. Until somebody says, you know what, we're going to take a gamble and throw it in. It's going to be installed in. That's why the PlayStation 3 drove the Blu-ray format, because Sony had the foresight to go, you know what, we're going to put it in our console, and it's going to push the technology. Exactly that's what killed the HD DVD format, was because Sony
the whole VHS beta thing. VHS beta porn drove that one.
Yes,
Android, they just
adult
made up,
movies
yeah.
adopt whatever they adopt the new
What are we
system, they jump
Yeah.
to it, and that's what wins. It's true. It's true.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
true.
It's definitely
It's
true.
absolutely
on?
true.
That's
It's
good
mass
knowledge you
adoption.
have there, scrub.
I'm just saying.
Solid state
I'm
drives
just
now
saying.
will
I'm
start
just
coming
saying.
down rapidly because PlayStation and Xbox chose
Yep.
to use that format for the console. So we're going to see that price coming down. It's going to come down for Microsoft and Sony because they're pumping up millions of these things now. So we're going to see a big drop.
Even in the last 3 years or so, solid state drives have dropped tremendously.
Yeah, great topics, guys. Great points. Awesome stuff. Shall we move on to the next topic? Or does anyone have any further thing to say on this matter? I mean, I think it is what it is. It's kind of a win-win in a way. That's all I can say. And it just depends on which side of the coin you're on. I mean, obviously, if you have all the new consoles right now, you'd probably be kind of foolish to go and buy the lesser version of it. You're going to go out and buy the best one. Obviously, it's easy if you're Xbox because of the whole smart delivery and the fact the upgrade is basically free. Whereas, PlayStation is going to charge you that $10 more for their particular first-party software that take advantage of PS5. So, did I sum that up perfectly?
Yep.
The only thing that I could say is everybody here knows that we have a really huge backlog. So that will keep us busy. And like Paul and Nurse said, the increase of prices in the market because of the shortage, that backlog is going to keep you busy. So there is no rush to jump into a new hardware just for one game jumping to the next gen. Yeah. So that's the only thing that I will say.
And in some cases, okay, as Human Spider says here, if you buy Miles Morales on PS4, you get the PS5 version for free. And in some cases, that might be true, Spider. I know in the case of, say, was it Sackboy? I don't think that is true. Am I not?
Sackboy wasn't true. Yeah, Sackboy.
Yeah,
Right.
PlayStation only certain titles you get the free upgrade.
Yeah.
Where I think Xbox has been doing all of them, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. That sort of thing. Yeah,
because they also came out and said, they made their statements that we're going to try to give the Series X, Series S enhancements, and that was before PlayStation announced that they were doing anything. So they're kind of letting Xbox get out there first, and they're testing the waters, and then they're making their decisions after that.
Which it kind of makes it look like they're playing catch up. It really does. Which is a good look, actually.
Same thing with Joe was saying. They were going to do DRM, and a lot of people were until there was the big fallout in 2013. Most of these companies were lining up to do the same thing until they saw how much the fans reacted to that. And what are we doing now? The same thing. It's just Xbox just stepped out a little too early on that one.
Okay. Well, the Human Spider says no, it's free on Sackboy too, and if that's the case, and I'm wrong in this one, I'll take.
There was some game that they released that it wasn't free for.
I just want to say that smart delivery is making the cross-gen debate almost non-existent on Xbox. If it wasn't for smart delivery and you had to buy the games twice or pay for the upgrades or whatever, I don't think cross-gen games would be so appreciated as they are now. Like. Xbox has been so transparent and so pro-consumer when it comes to cross-gens. You buy, and I believe before they called it cross-play or play anywhere. That's what it was called.
Play anywhere.
Yeah, where you buy it once and you have it on every platform they have it on, the best version. And for me, that has, since my military days, that has been the lifesaver and why I stick with Xbox, because they're not gouging me. They're not nickel and diming me on that front. Other fronts, okay, but not on that one.
Cool beans. All right. Yeah, and I mean, and in fairness to the PlayStation 2, like I said, the backwards compat titles coming over from PS4, they certainly added a lot of PS5 based upgrades to them. Most recently, The Last of Us 2 got one where you can play the game at 60 frames a second and various other improvements. So it's great to go back and play some of those games and get that as well. And I think Xbox does it with a lot of games too. So pretty cool stuff right there. Let's move the topic right along, guys. And yes, Spider-Man, the Human Spider, I have a PS5, but unfortunately so far I've only had Miles Morales for it. And I bought like the PS5 / version. that sort of thing. I wasn't buying a PS4 and then sort of upgrading. So just to clarify right there. So don't want people thinking that I'm coming in here with a vendetta, like, oh my God, I hate PlayStation, because that's not what this show is about. Sometimes it's misinformation, or sometimes just that sort of thing. But anyway,
Somebody
let's
get new bug snacks.
absolutely give me that bug snacks. Yes. Didn't Tony Hawk get a PS5 upgrade for free, but on Xbox you had to buy the new version? Could be, possibly. I don't know. I don't have that game either. Yeah. So, all right. But anyway, let's. I think it's now time for Cerebral Paul with his community spotlight, if he does have one ready. Paul,
Wait. No. I was supposed to be next week.
Well, who was doing it this week? Was
It was
Scrub?
it was supposed to
Scrub.
be me, but me and Boom, we still got some stuff to work out, so I can't finish it up.
Okay.
Well, jeez.
Yeah.
You had all week, man.
Well, it looks like we know who his selected is, and that would be Mr. Boomstick XL. Okay, so he's still cooking on that one. I guess it takes time to go nuclear with Mr. Boomstick XL, so we'll have to wait probably for the next. Our next show is going to be the E3 after show,
so it wouldn't be
2
there.
weeks.
Probably
Get in
be,
2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll be leaving that one, guys, because I think next week we're going to have too many topics to even worry about our spotlight. So, yeah, and it's all good, Human Spider. We appreciate you being here for the podcast too, man. By the way, all right, guys. Well, let's move right along. Let's see.
Well,
what
no,
our next
I can do
topic
mine.
is.
I can do mine. It won't be as well thought out, but I can do it.
If you want to go for it, Paul, it's up to you. We can jump you in there if you like.
So my spotlight is going to be for Wilmy Hood and the Gaming Beyond the Box gang.
Nice.
Wilmy does so much for the community, so much more than people might realize. They're always doing giveaways, and if they know somebody's in need of some help, they help out. Wilmy's an incredible person. Wilmy actually gave me my break in the podcast world almost a year. What's the date today? A year ago Thursday. This coming up will be my 1 year since my first appearance on a podcast, which was in Gaming Beyond the Box, and I had only been in Wilmy's chat 2 or 3 weeks, and I actually joined because I was going in because they were giving away copies of Manhunter. Again, let me say that's one of my favorite independent games at this point. But that was the game that got me started there, and I got a message from Wilmy going, "Hey, you want to be on the show?" And that's how it all started. And he is just an incredible person. He's fun to listen to. He's fun to watch. And like I said, they've given away thousands of dollars in graphics cards. They've given away all kinds of stuff, not because they're trying to buy your viewership, but just because they want to help the community. They want to be involved. It's an amazing bunch of people, and he's an amazing person. And so if you ever have a chance to listen to first, go follow his channel. It's Wilmy Hood on YouTube. And every Wednesday they do Gaming Beyond the Box, but they also have the Aftercast where they play games with people after the cast. Husk mostly, and some of the others join. And they also, all throughout the week, those different guys are on that channel playing games and doing stuff. So yeah, go give them a listen. They're an incredible group of guys.
And Wilmy's been playing a lot of Biomutant if you want to get some more video of how the game plays.
And sometimes when a really crappy horror game comes out, Wilmy will take the bullet like he did yesterday. Boy. And he streams it when he plays this crap. And we're all going, yeah, we're not playing that.
And Wilmy again, and you, Paul, are the perfect example about how sometimes someone reaches out, gives you a chance on a podcast, and the next thing you know, you're on that podcast, and you're potentially a member or a panel member of various other ones. Because that's, again, the first time I got acquainted with you was through there, and I'm so glad I did, because I feel I've not only have a fantastic panel member, but a friend, and it's good stuff, guys. And that's how you get people out in the community, great voices, and a lot of people here. That's good stuff. And the other thing with Wilmy that I don't understand is he's been so generous and so great with the community, and yet there are people out there who backstab this guy, and become and run him down. And I'm like, but didn't he just basically like was really nice to you, was supportive of your channel and give you shit, and now you want to stab him in the back? I'm like, it makes no effing sense. So But shout out to Wilmy, man, great guy, gaming beyond the box. That crew is right up there with Gaming After Dark with off the wall craziness. You never know what you're going to get when you come out to his show.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
with us earlier. I don't know that they're with us now because they're not responding. But yeah, I know Wilmy was here earlier. So
Yeah, he was.
Mhm.
He was, guys. So great community spotlight for the one, the only Wilmy Hood. Fantastic spotlight, guys, from Cerebral Paul. And like I said, when we come back in a couple of weeks, we will have Scrub Nurse, and then I think we have CoolCat Terri to finally do her spotlight. So, and we're going to go through the rotation in that particular way. Yeah, typical internet Newf. Yes, the cancel console. Stu being safe. Glad you are safe, Stu. I don't know if you want to call it cancel culture, but yeah, it's definitely always people with the pitchforks out. The bigger you get, the bigger target you become. There is no question that that's one of the truest sentences you can have for the community. It's funny because even when you think you're a small fry, the moment you start to get any notoriety and your name starts to become synonymous with a platform or whatever, then yeah, you just get them. And it's normally always from the people that associate you with a platform. It's like for me, a lot of people know me as I'm an Xbox fan, but it's like, if you say something remotely not favorable for the other platform, well, you're a hater, and then they call you out and they say all sorts of stuff. But the funny part is they never half the time then look at your social media feed or your videos and realize when you just gave such and such a great review, like God of War is amazing, my game of the year, Kill Horizon Zero Dawn, my game of the year 2017, all the positive stuff I said about PlayStation. But no, they don't care about that. They're going to pick out that one thing where you said, that game wasn't that great, and this guy's a hater, and
It's crabs in the barrel.
Did you see all the heat that Paris took because he had dinner with Phil and the Microsoft
yes.
guys?
I certainly did, and I could have made that a topic for today, but I think people have talked it to death this week, and I didn't want to bring down the show with sort of a negative vibe. So that might be a topic for another day. Is about the toxicity and the absolute repulsive nature of a select segment, shall I say, of the gaming community. Doesn't represent the whole, but it definitely gets a lot of spotlight. And I think everybody here on the panel knows what I'm kind of referring to this past week. So my advice to anybody, and I think we can all say this, is gaming is supposed to be fun, and developers are passionate about what they do. They don't go into any project like half-ass going, like we want this game to be terrible and not succeed, we're going to give it a lazy effort and screw the gamers over. Like, I'm pretty sure you can ask any developer out there, and when they have the hit delays, they're the first one that feels bad about it. It sucks for us, I know, it's disappointing, but like Shigeru Miyamoto said, what was Shigeru Miyamoto's great quote? Something about a delayed game. Does anybody know the quote?
A bad game is bad forever. A delayed game will eventually be good, or something like that.
Something along that line.
Something like that.
Yeah. Most of the time, delays are technically a good thing. It just makes us wait longer. We get older and grow more gray hairs, but not in all cases, but in most cases, they usually turn out to be more beneficial than not. So, but anyway, let's move it right along. That was a great, like I said, that was another great community spotlight. So I'm just going to pull up the E3 schedule for everybody here in case you didn't see it. So here's what we're looking at, guys, for those who are wondering what it's looking like. Terry mentioned it earlier. Ubisoft normally kicks off things for the most part. So it looks like on June 12th, we have the Guerrilla Collective. They start off 8 a.m. Pacific time, followed by Wholesale Direct.
We're still watching
We
Paul.
can't see it. We can't see it.
Are we still? Oh, okay. I didn't think I brought it up, but yeah, let me just fix that out here. We just like looking at Paul's avatar.
Yeah.
Huh? Paul's getting
sorry. Yeah, my camera's off because I've been coughing today, and I got tired of trying to not look totally spastic.
Okay. Now
I just dropped Wilmy Hood's YouTube channel into the chat for those that were wondering what it was. So there you go.
Cool.
Yes.
Let me see.
Gaming Beyond the Box.
Bear with me on this one. I'll try to share the screen here once I get it. I think this is it here. Share entire screen. Is that it? I don't know, I've never actually done this. Terry and everybody else have been doing this, and I haven't done this. So let's see. It just doesn't let me share it.
Jay, graphic god. I love Paul's face, but I'm afraid I'll have nightmares.
Hey,
So I'm having a little trouble just sharing out this. Maybe I'm just in the wrong spot here. Hang on. I got
Share the link, and one of us
Yeah.
can share it.
Yeah.
okay, sure. Well, it's in the DMs there. It's in our DM for the Xbox. If somebody wants to pull that one up.
Let's see.
Somebody will pop it up on screen, and you can at least take a look at the list. It's in our. There you go. Did somebody? Nope. We've lost a few more people. Anyone got it?
I got it.
You got it? Okay, good.
I think I got it. Yeah, I got it. I'm looking at the right screen here. Okay.
There we go. I'll add this here so you guys can see the actual the article or whatever. So here we go. So here's the schedule, guys, for everybody in the know. Guerrilla Collective, Wholesale Direct, Ubisoft Forward, Gearbox Entertainment, Devolver Digital, June 12th and June 13th, pre-show. Microsoft Bethesda, Square Enix, the PC Gaming Show, Future Game Show, Warner Brothers Games, and Back for Blood. June 14th, pre-show, Take-Two, Mythical Games, Freedom Games, Razer, Capcom, Verizon, Intellivision, and Ven. June 15th, pre-show, Nintendo, Bandai Namco, Eureka Games, and GameSpot. As you guys may or may not know, that PlayStation is absent once again this year from this particular show. And EA, apparently, if it's all correct, is happening on July 22nd. I saw that from Lady Foxfire. She shared out the thing. So
Yes.
they're coming down the pipe quite a ways. So interesting. Yeah, so there you go. Anybody want to touch on this or any particular highlight or anything, any kind of surprises right there?
what's
I
GameSpot
love
going to tell
Devolver
us?
Digital.
What the heck is GameSpot?
GameSpot's probably gonna do a wrap up of everything.
Yeah, they'll do a post-show thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think EA will be there. They'll just be on the Xbox show with Battlefield.
Mm. Yeah, that's true. EA might be there at some capacity, is brought out as a partner through the program. I totally agree. That's a great point. Scrubs. Calling you Stubbs.
I've worked on some nubs and stuff. So.
No doubt, eh?
Devolver
shit.
Digital. I don't know if you've ever tuned in to see some of their showcases. They are so weird and entertaining. It's hilarious.
I can't watch Devolver when they do an event. I just can't. It's so cringy. I just can't with them.
But that's what makes it so good. It's like terrible acting on these over the top themes. It's hilarious.
I can't. No, it's.
But I also am
am
looking forward to Bandai Namco. You know, from the Japan side, Bandai Namco has been one of Xbox's biggest supporters for Japan titles.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really looking forward to that.
We're still waiting for that Tales.
Yeah, Tales of Arise, but they're bringing out that Scarlet Nexus. Isn't that Bandai Namco? Scarlet Nexus? I want to say
yes,
it is.
You're correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but we're still waiting for Tales of Arise. But, yeah. Ooh. So, yeah, Bandai Namco, looking forward to that one, other than Microsoft, of course. And, of course, the Devolver Digital, just because it's so over the top, terrible acting. Like, if you ever want to see executives do bad acting, watch Devolver Digital.
Nobody wants to see executives do terrible acting.
Like, does anybody remember when like Bill Gates and all the other guys were dancing on the stage of what was it, CES or something, to announce Windows 7 or 8 or something like that? Oh my god, it was so bad, it was great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Ubisoft, see what they have to show. I know they're going to do more with Far Cry 6, but they have a Rainbow Six game coming out. It was going to be called Quarantine, but I think with what we've been going on within the last year and a half, they're changing the name.
They're probably changing it for sure.
It'll be Tom Clancy Rainbow Six.
Well, Quarantine was the event that they did, 2 years ago? The short time Halloween event they did 2 years ago, I believe.
Yeah, when they did it with Rainbow Six Siege. This is going to be a spin-off from the Rainbow Six Siege storyline with these characters.
Because that was probably the best received spin-off that they did, at the time. I mean, everybody wanted to. They were like, "Don't take it away from us, please."
Yeah. So now they're going to do a full game about it, but they're just gonna. I'm guessing they're going to announce the game, what they're going to change it to.
Mm-hmm. You know, Clement in the chat brings up a good one too, the Intellivision Amico, which obviously saw its share of delays thanks to COVID and manufacturing issues related to that. So I'm quite interested in Intellivision Amico, and of course the guys over at the Next Level Gaming Podcast, Mike Mullis and company, have been shouting from the rooftops about this thing, and with Tommy Tallarico. So I'm definitely excited for that. I can't wait to see what they have to show off, and really excited for this little sort of modern day retro console in a sense. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely something that families should definitely consider heading into. The console is going to cost a little bit, but the games are going to be totally affordable. Most of them, like, not much more than $10, I think, a piece, and made for co-op in the house and that sort of stuff. So definitely looking forward to. Hey, the Hellboy is in the chat. What's going on, Hellboy? Glad you could be here.
And if you order the Founders Edition, you get the wood grain version.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the throwback. Yeah, so yeah, definitely looking forward to that. I think it's slated to come out in October, if my memory serves correct.
The only one that they never mention is the Atari VCS.
And somebody just got that the other day. I saw one of my friends on Twitter showed a picture of it. I was like, what the hell?
Somebody put that out, yeah.
I was like, that thing is out? I was like, where did that come from?
They were making so much of hardware changes and all that I wasn't even sure if it was going to actually be released, like you said.
But that's weird.
As much as I had those things, I have no interest in going back and owning them again. Okay, it's no.
Oh, I think it's Matty Burns. I think that's who it might have been, because he said he's playing around with it today. It's like, what the heck? It's like I know you ordered it, but when a console just shows up at your door out of the blue and there's like no fanfare, like what the hell? Like, that's gotta be one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. It's like, oh, can you imagine your Series X just showed up like before like an official launch? It's like randomly like, oh, here's your package.
Actually, my 1X did do that. My Taco Bell 1X showed up about a week and a half before it was supposed to be released.
Wow, that's kind of cool. You're just like, I can't speak about this unnameable console.
You might notice I'm playing better than I was the other day, but I can't say why.
Hacks. I call hacks.
Yeah. No, we're not talking about the Soldier Boy console. Let's forget that thing even existed. That's
so. I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but missing from the E3 list is Stadia and Luna.
Well, there's a reason. There's a reason.
They're missing everything.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, pretty much make a big announcement.
Facebook has Oculus.
They come out and make a big announcement. Say, guys, here's our show. We have nothing to show you, but thanks for your money, you suckers, and goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's called Luna, because about nighttime, that's when everybody sleeps. Nobody cares.
You got suckers.
I was thinking, like, what is that Paul's going to show us on the screen? Then I realized he's got his cat. There you go. What's black and white and stays up all night? It's his cat. There you go. All right. So before, just quickly, just an acknowledgement here that this is, I do believe it's Pride Month. So just a shout out to all those in the gaming community under the LGBTQ community. So just a shout out to all of them. We hope that, like I said, it's all about fun and equality in gaming. And a shout out to all of our friends in the community underneath that banner that, they still have the fight against the ridicule and the persecution and the unfairness and unjustness. So just a shout out to them. I think we all know friends or relatives that fall underneath that. So shout out to them. And like a Lady Foxfire, I think she is bi, so, and she's, like I said, I go back years for her. So all that stuff. So just wanted to shout out. And to anybody here on the panel, if you have a friend or someone from the community that you'd like to just kind of say hello to and acknowledge, now's the time.
I just say that it is an important topic to deal with, especially with the toxicity that is around sometimes gaming culture. So a lot of people might think that different fights or celebrate this or celebrate that. Maybe a lot of people will say, well, that has nothing to deal with me. That's not my fight. I won't deal with it. But until everybody's has looked upon as equals and stuff a lot of times. If you just pass it up now, it might be you on the next go round. Also, a lot of people might say, well, that has nothing to do with me, or I don't know anybody that's in there. Yes, you do. Whether you know it or not, there is somebody that is dealing with ridicule, or that they are a part of that community. They might not just speak it out loud. So a lot of times they will not come to you or will not say something to you, but because maybe your actions or how you carry yourself, they're afraid to come out to you. And I would hate to have a friend that is dealing with a problem, or just dealing with ridicule, or being able to just be themselves because the way I act or portray yourself. So just keep that in the back or the front of your mind, especially when we're out here in Twitterverse, when we're playing our games on chats and all that stuff. Just think about who you're playing with and what they could be going through.
Absolutely. Well said.
I just
Go
want
ahead,
to add,
Terri.
I am a member of the LGBT QIA community, and I do represent it. It is important. And those of you who don't think you know anybody, I think they say that 1 in 10 people is a member of the community. So just, you very well might have a family member that just hasn't come out.
Right.
So keep that in mind. 1 in 10. So there's a good chance you know a lot of them and just don't know that you know that. So we're everywhere. We're out here. Okay, we're out here.
You know, and I've always stated this. You know, I have 2 nephews who are gay and stuff, and I've always just said this, and this is what I say to people: nobody's forcing you to agree with different things or pay the way someone lives their life. But the biggest thing that I take away from it is just be happy that they're happy, and while you don't always have to agree with certain things, you don't have to hate somebody. That's the big thing. You don't have to hate them because they're different. That is all I can say. I hope I said that right. I know you have to be careful with your words to say, because things come out the wrong way and you get construed it, but I hope I said that well.
I think the most important thing to remember is that they're still people, regardless of anything that they choose in their life, whether you agree with it or disagree with it. They're still people, and they should be treated with respect, and and they should be given the same opportunities as everybody else. They want to work just as hard as anybody else. They want to have happy, productive lives just like everybody else. You know, they're not there to bring anybody down. And, you know, in gaming, I think it's great. I don't know if you guys saw the Pride gear in the Xbox store.
Yeah, I did.
But I got to tell you, the Pride gear this year on the Xbox store is off the charts. Like, it is really good from a design point. So yeah, I think everybody should be welcome, because at the end of the day, we're all just people.
Exactly.
My whole thing is, even if you don't agree with it for whatever reason, if it doesn't affect you personally, shut up. You know.
Right.
Yeah. That's right.
Exactly.
That's right. Exactly. Life is too short, man. And like I said, you should be happy that people are happy, you know, and that it's getting more attention and brought out there, because how many decades did people live in silence, live in fear, and still do? That's the sad part, and still do. People that will not come out, are afraid to come out from their family, the persecution, or how they're looked at in the gaming community and stuff like that. You know what? I don't care how you roll. You're welcome on my podcast. That's for sure.
Like my parents always tell me, be nice to everyone, anyone and everyone. If not for the little bit of fact you might need them at one point in your life later down the road.
Amen. All righty, guys. Let's get our Scrubs. You're up next. If you have any new games that you'd like to highlight for this week, you're going to have plenty of the highlight over the next couple of weeks. So
yes, we'll have plenty to highlight over next week. But I did want to share something real quick that Terri sent out to me this week. So I want to let any and everybody else know real quick. Let me hit my share screen, and that is GamePass counter. We want to go to this website real quick and pull that up. So it sits there and will tell you, because a lot of times you'll see on Game Pass, they'll say over 100 plus games, or every now and then 200 plus games. But look at what we got here. It'll sit there and go over, tell you what's coming, what's leaving, and then it'll sit there and do a breakdown for you. So all your xCloud gamers, your PC gamers, console, back compat. I mean, if you got EA Play, if you do got Game Pass, that's what you have also. So I like how it breaks it down. Your boost games, your optimize. This is one of the best sites I've seen that will deal with that. That's not, specifically Xbox and Microsoft made. So I just wanted to go down here to leaving soon. Now this list is, I think these are dealing with June. Yeah, they're going to leave June 15th. One big game that a lot of people might have not had, but it's been around for forever. Ace Combat is one of the big ones I was thinking of. If you don't have a chance to get to play that, grab it. Like I said, most of these games, they're on there and they leave at some point unless they're first party. But if you do get a chance to, just download the game, put it on your. If you get to it later on with your back compat stuff, that's fine as well. But just get a chance to check out these games. You won't regret it because you don't realize how many games. Let's go over here to coming soon, and they'll sit there, give you all the list, dates. But if I actually sat there and opened up, which I can real quick, of all the games that are sitting in here, I guarantee you there'll be games in here that you did not know at all.
A lot of the coming soon say to be determined, and I'm betting a lot of those are going to be determined next week.
Exactly. But this is just a list of the console games, not PC, not cloud, just console only. You got every Battlefield in here, including Bad Company. Army of Two. I used to love Army of Two back in the day. Yes. Like I said, Black, which I talked about a couple of weeks ago, how I wish they would come back with that. A lot of your EA games that you have forgotten about are in here. All your Crisis game, Code Vein. Like I said, we're just in C's. We're just getting here to the D's. Go check this out. It's GamePassCounter.com. So if you guys want to check that out, GamePassCounter.com. I'm so glad Terry sent this to me. And like I said to anybody out there, if you're seeing something that might help and we might highlight it in the show, let us know. Because recently added to just Game Pass on here, you might be interested in these games, you might not, but there are plenty on that Game Pass counter that are back compat or something that you might not have had a chance to play and just don't know that it's there. So definitely get a chance to go check that out whenever you do. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah, Microsoft, what are you doing with that misleading advertising?
Oh, it's horrible.
Only 100+ games on Game Pass.
I hate when they do that. Because a lot of people will say, "Oh, it's 100 old games that I never played or that I already played." 9.9 times out of 10, the hardcore or the average gamer hadn't played those 400 something titles. So I think that their PR needs to step that up. I know they do it so when they take some out, put some in, they won't be off by their number, but they could easily say 300+ and be good.
Yeah. I love that Games Counter also has the category for games that have touch controls. So those of you that like doing xCloud and stuff, if you're like, well, I don't have the controller set up, well, now you can look and see which ones you actually can play on your phone without that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't mind the 100+ games because it's like somebody just said in the chat. If you say 400+, it can feel overwhelming. I mean, if you're interested in it, if they say 100+, you go look at the library and you go, well, I haven't played that. I haven't played that.
I think the fanboys would love it because it would be a bigger number for them to brag about.
Yeah, bigger is better.
Did you see the size of my Game Pass?
I see your game collection is as big as mine.
The big thing is that collection is a very wide range of games.
Yes.
From single player to multiplayer to whatever. That if you can't find something in there that you're interested in, you're not trying.
Right.
Yeah. That's gonna be the Xbox Game Pass new motto: when size matters.
I'm gonna put the link in the
Yes.
chat as well.
Yeah, I think it's just was it GamePassCounter.com, isn't it?
Yes, but sometimes when you try to
Right.
pull it up, it doesn't work always.
Gotcha.
It's
All right.
brand new. They just launched it like a day or two ago, and they're you can follow them on Twitter. They're making updates to it and following feedback and stuff. So
Okay, awesome.
very, very, very good site so far.
All right, Axel, you have anything this week cloud related?
Yeah, so I'm going to keep mine super short and sweet. So I found this article interesting. I found this on, I put it up on the chat there. AndroidCentral.com has basically called Xbox Game Pass cloud streaming the best cloud streaming platform there is. They show the supported regions, 22 of them. They talk about the pros and the cons, which I read the whole article. Everything is accurate on it, to my experience. And this was written by a lady. Let me see if I can pull up the article real quick. It's by Jennifer Locke, related to, the Locke character on Halo that we don't like. No, I'm just kidding. No, Jennifer Locke wrote this. It's a really good article, but what was surprising is that Android Central did this, because Android obviously has Stadia. So they even put Xbox game streaming above Stadia. So that's a big win for Xbox. So yeah, that's all I got was this news that Xbox cloud streaming is so good that even the competitors have to admit it. Not the competitors, but the sites that favor the competitors have to admit how good it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I got this week. Just real quick news. If you don't have cloud streaming on your phone, you can get it if you're an Ultimate member. It's the only way to get it, and it's definitely worth it. The touch controls work on some games. On some games they don't. Cough. Sea of Thieves. Cough.
Yeah.
So
it is internet strength dependent too.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go on there and try to spend 3 hours playing Forza Horizon. It's not going to be as fun as some of the other games, but it will work on there.
No, it won't. It's definitely made for Wi-Fi. 5G works pretty good. 4G is serviceable on most games, but Wi-Fi is really the way to work. You have basically almost zero lag. The only way you're going to notice lag on Wi-Fi is if you're driving a really, really fast car on Forza Horizon or on a racing game, because you're not going to make that turn or brake fast enough. Just letting you know.
Yeah.
All right. And that's all I got. Real short and sweet.
Awesome. No problem. Well, I had another topic, but I don't think we're going to get to it today. It's not all that big, so we are going to close the show here now as we approach the 2.5 hour mark. So that's pretty awesome. Our first topic was definitely fairly in depth, and we look forward to, like I said, coming back here next week. We'll talk about that more in a sec, but let's get to the outros before I let everybody know what's going on. So let's sign off, starting with CoolCat Terri.
All right, everybody, you can go ahead and catch me over on Twitter. It's CoolCat_Terri. Go ahead, and I'm pretty active on there, so you always can reach out. And I tend to post a lot of things that are gaming related, as well as indie games and things like that got my interest. And then I have my own podcast called Just a Glimpse. That link there is for my official website that I made for my own podcast, so you guys can check that out. I have a lot of different content on there. Most of it's gaming related, but I do focus on anything that's kind of pulp culture. So I'll talk about movies, some of my personal life and things like that. So you guys can get to know me better, and you can get some pretty hot takes from me and get my perspective on things that tend to be very unpopular. You can also go and watch me on Twitch. I'm there during the week. CoolCat Terri, all one word, and you can catch me there Monday through Thursday, 6 p.m. to midnight Eastern time. Fridays is my earlier show to help for those of you that are overseas with the time zone gap. So I do a 2 to 6 on Friday, and then Saturdays I do community night. I usually prefer like 6 o'clock to about 10-ish. I try to wrap up early so that way I'm not too tired for the show here on Sunday mornings. So good stuff. Check me out there. And then I also have Instagram. I post on there occasionally. And then my gamer tag is the same as pretty much everywhere else as well. So go ahead and check that out. Good stuff.
Absolutely. All right. That's CoolCat Terri. Everybody go check out her stuff. Like she said, it's posted, and also the links are in the chat description as well for those who might have missed it on the screen. So next up, we got Mr. Cerebral Paul.
You can find me at Cash App. Oh wait, no. Just you can find me on YouTube at Cerebral Paul. You can find me on Twitter at Cerebral Paul 1, Twitch at Cerebral Paul. You can find me here every Sunday, of course. And when it picks back up, you can find me on the Flamish Experience later on Sundays and on Wednesdays on Midweek Gaming with the Stubbscast group. And other than that, I'm all over the place. So just look around for me. Tonight I'll be doing Fight Night with K Mega. If you've never stopped by there and you want to play some fighting games with us, jump on in. We have a lot of fun.
Awesome stuff. Go check it out. Next up, we've got Eternal Shaddai.
Well, you can find me at Twitter at Eternal Shaddai. Also on Xbox at Eternal Shaddai, all caps lock. Twitter, Twitch, ETE Shaddai. And also on Saturdays, since I do also in Spanish, called Cultura de Mancos. You can find me there on Saturday. Usually I'm talking about gaming on Twitter, all over the place, gaming, the works.
There you have it. All right. Next up, we've got Axel 1324.
Made it, barely. Hey, what's up, Dreadful? Anyways, yeah, you can find me here on YouTube at Axel1324 Gaming. Just search for Axel1324. I should pop up. Twitter at Axel1324 and on Xbox, Axel1324 gamer tag. You can also find me on Twitch, Axel1324 Gaming. I stream every Saturday co-op games with my friends. And now that my 3 weeks of chaos is over, I'm going to start putting out more videos here on YouTube. Back to my regular schedule.
Yes, indeed. And last but not least, as I did the outros in order of the way we appear on the screen, we got the one, the only Scrub Nurse.
Hey guys, what's going on? Glad y'all were able to hang out with us. I stream. I'm starting to get back into streaming since I got back in town, but at least twice a week. And you can find me on Twitch at Scrub_Nurse, and then on Facebook, the Bayou Elite, which a lot of times I'll play with my friends, and we'll do a lot of COD co-op multiplayer gaming. You can find me on Twitter, ScrubNurse3, and my Xbox gamer tag is all caps Scrub Space Nurse. And also just another special thing, I'll be on Boom's channel tomorrow, Primetime Gaming, which will be moved 1 hour ahead of time till 7 p.m. Eastern. So I'll be the special guest for there. If y'all want to stop by and say hello, check that out. We'll be talking about what's going on with E3 discussions, just kind of like what we did today. So that's about it.
And you guys know where to find me, always in the gutter. Yes, it's Boom Boom Kaboom. Newf Nukem is leaving the room. Another fantastic episode of Good Morning Xbox. Big shout out and thank you to the panel. Great show today, guys. And we had, like I said, almost, I think, over 60 people at one point today, I think, or pretty close to it. So great numbers, especially for early in the morning. Big shout out again to some people that are just popping. They might have been here the whole time, but we got our good friend Dreadpool. He's in the chat. Quietish T, what's going on? Brap is in the house. What's going on, Brap? Casket Repair, how you doing, man? Glad you could make it. Christina, thanks for being here. The list goes on. I could stay here all day. Chase Jones, etc., etc. But you guys know who you are. Thank you so much. And it's going to be interesting to see who shows up with us next week. As I said, next week we're going to be doing the podcast, absolutely. But we are going to be doing it after the E3 presentation from Xbox. So we're going to come on and have our, we'll probably, obviously, we might even talk about the shows that are happening from Saturday as well. We'll probably dip into some of the highlights from there as well. But primarily, it'll be mostly related to what Xbox does and all that good stuff. So check it out next week. I don't know for sure. I don't know which of you panel members are confirmed for next week. So we let people know.
I'll be here.
I'll be here.
That sounds like we got Awesome. It sounds
Yeah.
like we got the full panel. Wouldn't have it any other way. I told them off air before the show, I said, look, if somebody already asked you and you have previous commitments, then go for it, because I don't want to be that guy. But I'm glad that we do have a regular panel for next week's show. It'll be my first time ever sort of doing a podcast, as on my channel as host. Normally I've always been a guest on other people's shows, which is kind of odd because nobody asked me this year, which normally, a week in advance, I got people saying, Newf, hey man, you want to come on our show and talk E3 stuff? Nobody asked. So, hey man, it's your loss. I'll be right here on this channel. No, it's all good, man. Great chat. Like I said again today, we'll be back here next week. So as soon as basically the E3 wraps up, we'll have the time really for you. I think it kicks off at what time does it kick off Eastern?
1.
It's like 1. Okay, so
Yeah,
it's like
1 p.m.
11
Eastern.
o'clock. Okay, so 1 Eastern. By the time that's over, say 90 minutes. Yeah, it's gonna be later in the afternoon for sure. So,
5-hour podcast, right? 5-hour review show.
It's gonna be 5 hours of nothing but Halo.
There we go.
That's all it's
It's
gonna
an
be,
exciting
Terry.
week.
it'll probably be over the 2-hour mark. We'll warn you in advance. And like I said, we'll be keeping an eye on the chat. It might be important because I'm going to be taking down your names for those who show up to our podcast. Yeah, I'm going to be taking down your names, and I'll have more details about that. But those who show up, it'll be important. We will be appreciative, put it that way. So
It's gonna be like a field trip.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a list of who they are, and like they better be active.
yeah.
More importantly, I will be tracking who doesn't show up. Okay.
There you go.
Just saying. Just saying.
Paul's list will be much longer than mine. Hey, but
This person
sometimes
didn't show. This person was late. All right.
well, we already did one giveaway earlier this year where we honored our amazing chat. So don't worry. So like I said, it'll be good stuff. We're looking forward to it. I know you are too, because it's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of positivity. The podcast is going to be amazing next week. I can't wait to get back here at it. So, but until then, want to wish everybody just a fantastic Sunday. Have a great week. Get excited. Get pumped. It is almost
Let's
time.
go.
It's
Let's
like
go.
Christmas for gamers, man, and some semblance of, I guess, a bit of a like a, what do you call it, like a normal E3, not 100%, but compared to last year where everything just got immediately kiboshed, and then everything was just popping up here, there, left, right, and center. So this year it feels a little bit more like your typical E3, but without the audience and the fan expos and stuff. But yeah.
And don't forget, yeah, everyone's talking E3, but Summer Game Fest is happening too. So we're
Yes.
getting both.
Yes.
Yes, great point, Terry. Thanks for bringing that up. Yes, indeed. All right, so we'll catch you guys all next week in the afternoon. Good morning, Xbox, in the late afternoon.
Brunch.
Yeah, I was about to say that. You beat me to it.
Xbox at brunch, baby. That's how we're gonna roll. Catch you all later. Have a great day.
Bye.
Have a good one.
See ya, everybody.
Peace.